We were working in the lab late one night when we came across an eerie sight. We were looking to strike Zeromus down, but Tricker said, "It's my turn now." We did the dash. It is the Slapdash, the Sunday slap. It is the Sunday slash, the Sunday slash. It's not gonna be done in a flash. It's the dash. It's the Sunday Slapdash.
Sheep Launcher, I deeply appreciate how that slowly started to deteriorate as you were going on.
Oh, it was, yeah, it was all deterioration, but...
That is how our night is gonna be, everybody.
Welcome to the Sunday Slapdash. My name is Sheep Launcher. I am here with Hupfin. We have a Lit 3 mystery objective. This is going to be absolutely bonkers. We're glad you're with us. Hupfin, what can we expect here?
Chaos and pain, mostly. We can expect a Rosa. We're starting with a Rosa. That's all we know about the characters that we have available. Lit 3 being, one of the mystery seed settings that we have that's very, very, very mean at times. You can see there's a list of 20 objectives that our runners have to go through. 20. They may have to go through all of them. They may only have to go through one of them. We don't know.
Yeah, we also don't know if getting all those objectives is going to win you the game, or if you still have to fight Zeromus after that. There's a approximately 10% chance that getting those objectives means you win the game.
Yep, there's quite a few things that we have, that 10% chance of kindness and 90% chance of mean, and if you have ever played XCOM, you know that this is just going to be all mean in that case.
Yeah, the objectives are varied. We have a lot of boss hunts, Legend Sword, complete the giant, there's a dark matter hunt. Basically, if there is something that can be done in the world of free enterprise, Lit 3 demands you do it all.
Yep, and among these objectives, we see, we have forging the sword, we have completing the giant of Babel. If you've been around the free enterprise community for a long time, you would remember back in those days when we didn't actually have objectives, we introduced these alternate win condition modes, one of which was, go and forge the sword with Kokol, one of which was complete the giant. And because those were win conditions, they didn't have anything that happens after you do it. Those are the ones we've enabled. So if you complete the giant, you're not getting a character. If you forge that sword, you're not getting something in return. So our opportunities for good loot, good characters, just a little more reduced. So have fun with that.
It's tough to get them reduced beyond the treasure conditions that Lit 3 lays out. T-Pro, I think, is going to be the best you're going to get. There's a good chance that a lot of these chests are going to be empty. It's going to be slim pickings out there.
Yeah, a 50-50 chance of getting junk or money versus, having actual content in your chests that you care about. Max tier 6, no matter what. Have fun with that. The sparse level can be very high. We're like 90% of chests can be empty. 100% can theoretically be empty, although that's only a 5% chance. I will admit I have run this kind of flag set many times because it is a bizarre kind of challenge. It's not about your execution or your knowledge of the bosses. It's about being able to adapt to really mean situations.
Yeah, we're going to see our featured runners. By the way, let's introduce our featured runners. On your left, Hereward, and on the right, Xenocat. Xenocat, of course, the master of this kind of thing, really stretched the limits of their knowledge of FE, their problem-solving abilities. Settle in. We're glad you're with us. We're underway.
Yep, and we are underway with a Palom, a Golbez, a Tower Key. Very little in the way of loot, but Permajoin is not enabled.
Okay, there was a meme kit, Ninja a Drain Spear in there and a Ninja Sword. Not useful. I did see one chest there, empty, so there is some kind of sparse flag on.
Yep.
While we are getting set up and while running through the list of all the objectives, I do want to thank our tracker, Firebird Lover, who is going the extra mile and tracking all of the objectives. Can't do it on screen, but is doing it on their own, so thank you for that. And our restreamer, Harumph, for bringing you all this madness.
And also, we did see from Guiding Way that yes, this is when this is a crystal. We do have to go fight Zeromus. We are not going to get a one and done. Our best case is a one and grind.
Kane, guarded by Ashura and the Baron Inn.
And so far, we've only found money, so fair chance of T-Money being on at this point. Those dollar values, it's looking like that.
Yeah, it looks like T-Money is on. Only tents for sale in the Baron item shop.
Yeah, that is actually a great thing to see, specifically that it's tents and not cabins. If it was just cabins, yeah, you would be terrified that it was S cabin and that's all you're ever gonna buy. Just finding tents, okay, that's kind of limiting, but there's other things out there too.
Yes, and just tents is not necessarily guaranteed that there are no J items in shops, but it is a data point in that direction. And once again, only money on the table. Xenocat going into the Chocobo Forest to pick up what looked like some more money, but I did not see.
And of course, like, we have what appears to be functional shops, getting plenty of money from those treasures, and again, we have that objective for the Dark Matter hunt. So you're going to want to check every bit of loot that you can. Go dig them all.
Yes, very much so. T-Sparse is on, but and there's a Dark Matter for Xenocat, but it doesn't appear to be overly punishing. Maybe a T-Sparse of 30 or 40%.
Yeah, it's feeling that way. It takes a while to really sort that out, but yeah, this is not a terribly punishing one on that front. And both of our runners going and grabbing a lot of arrows. Starting with Rosa, we haven't checked the gear. We don't know if Neki is on, but if it's not, then she definitely has a bow and can take advantage of those early on.
Very much so, and
it
is on, but does have an archer bow.
I'm not 100% sure, but I believe Neki can roll Rosa with just a staff, and then you'd be feeling a little silly that you bought all those arrows.
But an archer bow, a pretty good bow for starting off with. Rosa, Xenocat has her equipped with mute arrows, so this Rosa will be dealing some damage early on while Palom gets up to speed. Here we're going to check the character in the bed. It's another Kane.
All right, so that's given us information on, I believe, 4 characters, as we had Cecil as an objective, and I don't think there are any other ones.
Xenocat finds D-Lunars in the waterfall. Honestly, I did not see all of the 20 objectives, and if I did, they certainly escaped my mind, so I do not know if D-Lunars are a required boss objective.
Unfortunately, they are. The waterfall boss is required. So that's a strong comeback later.
Yeah, not a ton of HP at the waterfall spot, but the waterfall spot the fastest in the game, I believe. And with 2 D-Lunars there, they'll be punching a lot.
Yeah, you really want a setup that will knock them down in one go. And just starting off, no party is going to quite have the speed that you need, or the power that you need. Xenocat grabbing the hovercraft. Of course, free characters will not be on. Free item will not be on. Free bosses, might be on. Very low chance, but we may get a few freebies.
Maybe. The free boss bid is the kind of standard one. It's the one that's usually on. It makes, for example, Baron guards, Kypo guards susceptible to status effects like stop, and it activates the script for Dark Knight Cecil and King Queen Evelyn to stop what they're doing and just fade away. If the free bosses is not on, they just keep punching until you kill them.
Xenocat first one up onto Mount Hobbs, finding Kainazo and Attila.
Overall, Kainazo at the top of Mount Hobbs, about as good as you could hope for.
Yeah, not a terrible spot, not a terrible amount of HP, so these waves will not be that rough. And we started with a Palom, so we have access to Lit 1.
Yeah, very nice. That Lit scaring him. The Hobbs boss, the speed very manageable, so should be able to beat the waves with that Palom. Xenocat doesn't do it there, but the did enough damage that the wave wasn't that threatening at all.
And Alchemy asking in chat, aren't encounters on? That is a flag that can get flipped, and no, random encounters cannot be enabled on this seed. We saw that before our runners got going. The flag was just not available in the options menu at all, so there will be no random encounters.
Very interesting. Now, does that mean, do we know whether the forced, say, trapdoor or behemoth encounters can be available?
Those can still be available, and fair chance that there will be. But yes, this means that, sure, we got Tella, but we did not get Demon, because we cannot enable those encounters. We'll have to figure out some other method of grind.
This is the first battle that either runner has faced. We also got armor, so J spells are on.
Yeah. And here where it gets the first objective complete, does not obtain a crystal, we are in for the long haul.
Hey! Huffman, did you have any plans for tonight?
Nope.
Me neither. Here we go. It's 106 miles to Chicago. We got a full tank of gas, half a pack of cigarettes. It's dark, and we're wearing sunglasses.
Hey, and I haven't watched that movie in a hot minute. But I did not watch Xenocat finish up their fight, so I'm not 100% sure. Though we have not verified about permadeath being on or off as of yet. That is a possibility.
Yeah, the Palom is still there. I did not see if Palom was still down at the end of that fight.
I believe he was up, because I did not spot any revive outside of combat.
But it certainly was not there. And Lord Goober in chat saying everybody survived at the end of that fight. So we don't know if any kind of permadeath is on yet.
But of course I bring that up because, again, looking at the YAML, looking at the settings for this, 50-50 chance that we are going to face permadeath on this seed.
So, 50% of the time, they're dead all the time.
Precisely.
Hereward ventures down into the bottom of the Antlion Cave and finds some orbs down there. This is just like wandering into the server room at my place of employment.
Here. There's something about I don't know. You would think for someone who's worked on computers for most of her life, she'd have a good, like, burrowing and tunneling joke to make here. But I'm too much of a front-end developer, I guess.
Well, I was thinking, like, you know, going down into the server room, there are treasure chests, at least in my place, and that's the leftover Mountain Dew bottles that they've left behind.
I don't know. When I think server room, I'm just like, but we don't have like a haunted house dungeon in Final Fantasy IV. It's no really good place for it.
The sealed cave is kind of the closest to a haunted house.
You know, I'll give you that.
Want to thank the Satellite 54 for the raid. Welcome into the Sunday Slapdash. It's Tricker's turn now. We have a Lit 3 mystery seed, so we don't know entirely what to expect, but we know it's going to be a lot of pain.
But Hereward gets through that CPU fight nice and clean and picks up the package.
Well worth checking at this point, especially with so many boss hunts. If there's any kind of character that can help you, one, you get information, even if it's a duplicate character, whether dupes are allowed, and two, there are just so many bosses out there worth seeing who is in the Kaipo Inn.
Yep, so here we're immediately going over to the Mist Cave, do that boss check, see if it's on the tally list. I don't think Wyvern is on the tally list, unfortunately, so we don't get to deal with that.
Didn't even stick around to check if Witchburn is on.
Ooh, Hereward, you might want that. That is value.
That is a required Cecil, but maybe going to wait until after trekking up Ordeals to invest that time?
Possibly. Again, we know Permajoin is not on, so if you don't want Cecil, like, you can still grab him temporarily.
Sure. Xenocat stuck around to see if the bomb sprite flag was on, apparently, and also reset out of that.
But yeah, but everyone's avoiding that package for the time being. Here we're headed over to Fabul, using some of that copious cash to buy a lot of life potions, which is probably a good idea.
Xenocat stuck around long enough to see that the Mega Nuke is on, and decided to nope out of that. Hereward facing down Leviathan, invading Fabul. Xenocat, meanwhile, going into the front of Mist Cave to do some looting, using that Tela to give the yellow screen of death.
Yeah, only picked up one dark matter, but hey, you need 30 of those things. You're happy to have them.
Yeah,
it's very easy to forget the treasure chests in there.
Did come up empty in that Chocobo forest, but did not waste the trip, got the MP refilled. And is gonna head back into Baron Inn and see if they can pick up this game.
Hereward, meanwhile, ooh, gets Leviathan, but Palom is down. Is this permadeath? No, it is not. All three names were still there on the fade out.
Xenocat, meanwhile, runs into a Mylon and friends, all hiding in the corner. The King hiding a Dark Matter, also giving a hook for Hereward. Hook is another character, and if the seat couldn't get any meaner, it could be a hook route. And here we're giving us further confirmation, I believe, that permadeath is not on, able to cycle through these sprites, and Palom still shows up. So permadeath not on.
Yeah, so far this is actually proving to be relatively kind. Gear is available, which sometimes is not the case in Lit 3. Characters will survive for a meaningful amount of time, which is sometimes not possible. These runners might actually clear this seed.
I was promised Carnage. Where is it?
So far, it's all in Mist Cave, and our runners just avoided it. Hey, sometimes this is the joy of Lit 3. Sometimes you get single objective to win the game. Sometimes you get required Wyvern in the sealed cave.
But yeah, not required Wyvern in Mist Cave. Not a bad deal. And yeah, the shots are fairly decent for a Lit 3.
Yeah, it looks like they will be improving as our runners get underground and eventually to the moon. Still can't expect anything, remarkable. It's still gonna be a difficult shop set, but still, you can work with this.
So I'm just thinking out loud here. But so far, we've gotten a tower key, a package, and a hook from kind of standard checks. Leads me to think K-Trap not on.
That is possible. That is a 1 in 10 for Summon, Moon, and Trap. They're all individual 1 in 10s for being off. So yeah, it's entirely possible that K-Trap is not on. We have verified there is a Mist Dragon on the hook route, though.
And a vanilla edge.
Yeah.
Xenocat got a crystal shield from Baron and able to take Kane into their party. As Warlink pointing out in chat, that means the party size is capped at least 4, maybe 5.
Yeah, here we're proving the same with this edge joining in.
Yeah, and that edge, I don't know that we've seen any gear for him, but can help.
Yeah, Edge is one of those classic, kind of tricky on a Sineki flag. He does rely on having really good gear to really shine. So you gotta build him up.
Xenocat making the trek up Ordeals. Here we're after collecting the character, going to finish the overworld and specifically going to follow Xenocat up the mountain.
This seems like the best play available to you right now. I agree with holding off on Baron in, because you could have a party cap of 4 and that Kane, maybe you take him, maybe you don't, but Tella still has some utility even if you can't D-money, and you really want to do this for getting that Cecil online. So strong reason to do this.
And since both runners have been mostly keeping their characters alive so they wouldn't have to find out if permadeath was on, we're also not entirely sure if this is a C hero flag. So Ordeals is our first chance to really check that.
Yeah, that'll be our verification, and if it is, then all of a sudden Rose's agility and being able to manipulate that becomes a lot more important. If it's not, then Tella actually gains new value. We can pretty much assume curse rings are not going to be available, but he's still sluggish, and that's fine. We can work with that.
Xenocat cooks their sushi. Now, Xenocat, like you, Hupton, has seen a lot of these seeds. Does a racer who's kind of experienced in the Lit 3 setup kind of get a little worried about where the trick is coming, what the catch is?
Quite possibly. But you're also, familiar enough with what Lit 3 can throw at you that you're taking a few steps here and there to kind of gather that information as early as possible. It was actually, I'm pretty sure via Xenocat's screen, that we saw the encounters cannot be toggled on. That's one of the things you want to know early. And if they are on, you're going to spend like a minute or two outside of Baron figuring out things like permadeath, figuring out if there's experience on random encounters, like all sorts of little things to kind of rule out possible meanness. But you can't rule out a mom bomb in the back attack. That's always going to be mean.
Yeah, that's going to be mean no matter what the flags are. Mom bomb in the spot hits, has just too much HP. I just don't think Mom Bomb should be allowed to have this much HP.
It's simply too large of a number. You would think a Super Nintendo could not provide such a number, but it does.
There ought to be a law. Write your Congress people.
Mom Bomb, illegally healthy.
Hereward into the explode phase, and ooh, that was
quite
a
the
big
explode.
And now has 6 smaller bombs who are still angry.
Yeah, not a ton of sweeping power, especially if that Palom stays down. Oh, no. I stand corrected. Edge is able to take care of them with a single flame. He showed me how.
Well done by Edge. Xenocat is going to have a bit more problems here. That explode took down two of their characters as well, and he doesn't have a lot of AoE here. And it looks like C Hero is on.
Yep, there is Rosa going in solo. And yes, for folks joining in a bit late, either with the raid or just in general, normally we do have a list of all the objectives in the middle of the screen, and we use the lights to kind of indicate what our runners have done. There are 20 objectives. We can't fit that on the screen. We're not that clever. So our lights now operate, the one light, they've just done one objective. Then it's 5, 10, 15, and all 20 going along the line.
Yeah, and there was a chance that just doing one objective would get our runners the crystal they would need. That chance has come and gone. So they're doing all 20.
Fortunately, doing this crystal chamber here on Mount Ordeals is not going to be that difficult. We get the officer-soldier fight. Rosa has plenty of power to knock out the officer, and the soldiers can argue amongst themselves for a while.
Now, the only bad thing about this from a knowledge perspective is Hereward is not going to find out if free bosses are on from this fight. The Kaipo guards are the officer-soldier fight subject to status effects, can be stopped, but there was no need to and no way to even if they wanted to, so not going to figure it out right now. And the reward for the changing room, Hupfin, and Adamant, that's half of 1/20th of the objectives which
it's math, baby.
They tell us not to do math on stream, and that's what I'm going to do.
Well, hey, we finished Mount Ordeals, and we have done 1.5 objectives because that officer-soldier fight was also an objective. And if you want to factor in turning Cecil into a paladin, I don't know what number you point that at.
Streamer Haram saying no dupes also on. Do we know that for a fact as yet? I'm not sure we do.
It's possible because when we finish that fight, we get the message about Cecil turning to a paladin and Tella learns Medio. If there are multiple Tellas available, it will say all Tellas learn Medio. However, we have one in the party. I'm not 100% sure the text selection rules with all of that stuff. I'm inclined to think that, yes, no dupes is going to be on. That's the probability, so that's a safe assumption. I'm not willing to call it 100% until we have a chance for a dupe to join, and they don't.
Yeah, it'd be nice to get that confirmation. And Xenocat gets the same message. Tella learns Medio, not wherever they are.
Yeah, we're seeing enough folks in chat. Lots of very knowledgeable runners in this community who play all sorts of flag sets, whether they're this mean or just really wacky. So I'm willing to defer to community knowledge on that front. And again, with it being lit 3, I just expect no dupes to be on anyway.
I think it's a quote from the TV show Community. It's like, "I'm an idiot. Just ask anyone." And here we're now that he has climbed the mountain, going right back to Village Mist, going to pick up that Cecil. Xenocat making the same play. Warlink pointing out no wacky on the flags. I believe, if I saw the YAML correctly, there's 0 chance of a wacky flag in this one.
And yet, every time that I play, I press B at least once to check for jumping. I know that's not technically a wacky flag. I always do it anyway.
Yeah. I was going to ask about it, and I'm glad I saved myself the trouble.
It's sort of like a mystery seed tradition. You got a mystery seed? Okay, press B.
Just do it all. I'm sad that I'm not jumping.
I mean, you could jump right now if you want to.
We can jump if we want to. We can leave this stream behind.
Real talk, though, in your day-to-day life, how often are you jumping? It's not often enough.
It really isn't. And I think I read an article like a few years ago that just argued that we should be skipping more. And, you know, I don't skip at all. I walk a lot of places, and I don't skip. And every so often I think of that article, like, why am I not skipping now? And I just don't do it.
That feels like an article that was written from the conclusion into the evidence rather than the evidence into the conclusion. I think that's just someone who really wanted to skip.
It might have been an actual slate pitch. I can't remember. Well, here might be the closest thing to a haunted house in Free Enterprise when monsters come to attack in the middle of the night. In this case, it's just Leg.
It may just be Leg, but it is 2 objectives. That is Rubicante down, and that is Cecil joined.
Yes, and I believe, if I'm not much mistaken, both our runners have 5 objectives complete?
That feels about right. We've had Kanazo and Rubicante show up. Cecil has joined. We have defeated the officers. What was the 5th one?
Well, there wasn't a 5th one because Firebird Lover is informing me. Like, there are people who actually do work in these races. Firebird Lover actually doing the work, and and informing us that I miscounted.
Yeah.
So
Now,
again, that's what, yeah, that's why we don't do math on stream.
Xenocat, though, does have all 5. Does have that Mylon Z, or that Mylon and Friends, rather, from Baron Inn. Hereward is about to go get that, so he will be up to 5 himself. But yeah, objectives-wise, Xenocat does have that slight lead now.
Yes. A quarter of the way through, Xenocat slightly ahead. Now, I will say, my first Final Fantasy game was Final Fantasy IV. But the first one that I ever completed by myself was Final Fantasy VII.
Okay.
And the lesson I learned from Final Fantasy VII is the Chocobo that's in the lead at the quarter point of the race is not going to win. So I'm not saying that's going to apply to Xenocat. I'm just saying there is a chance that that Hereward can get back into this from one whole objective down.
I'm suddenly understanding why I was never very good at Chocobo racing, because I always figured that in order to win the race, you had to be in first. But what you're telling me is that at certain points, you don't want to do that.
No, you can't sprint right out of the gate unless you know the secret, which is pressing L1 and R1 to refill your stamina. I
did not know that secret. I did like one Chocobo race in that game, and it was like, oh yeah, side quest, fun. Let's not.
Speaking of side quests, let's get focus back on the race. Xenocat checking out all of the Chocobo forests. You'd love to see it.
Every single one has one treasure location. Could be dark matter, could be more money, could be nothing. But you also have that white Chocobo to refill your MP. Sometimes, some flag sets, some races, that is as good as a tent. If you're too constrained.
Hereward gets through Mylon with no problem, gets the crystal shield. And turned down that Kane. Not really surprising. No real weaponry for Kane at this point.
Yeah, I mean, it was mentioned that we found drain spears in shops, but those aren't weapons for Kane. They're weapons Kane can equip. They're weapons for Edge. Yeah,
Edge gets a lot more utility out of throwing them than Kane does equipping them. Hereward might want to keep in the back of his mind, at least I would if I were in his shoes, to check Mysidia, see if the Tower of Wishes has any of those characters available to him for whatever reason.
Yeah, again, I tend to operate on the assumption that C-Buy is on, but that is only a 2/3 chance. So it is entirely possible that we can pick characters back up.
Xenocat looting out Fabul. And Fabul hit particularly hard by the T-Sparse bug. Nothing in there.
Yeah, Xenocat came over here to loot Fabul, and we found that it was pre-looted for their convenience. Their inconvenience, sorry.
Yeah. Sometimes you wish, like, there were gift receipts in there. Or an IOU, maybe.
Yeah, but then you gotta go to the customer service desk on Boxing Day with your gift. Like, it's such a hassle.
And, like, you know they hate it too, but it's just something you have to do. And
Anyway, Hereward has cleared out the waterfall boss, so that's 6 down on his side.
Yeah, and now here we're going into Castle Evelyn.
Yeah, with Xenocat not far behind. We have not definitively shown that K-Trap is on. It's a little harder to be sure that it's off. But there's 3 fights in here, decent source of XP, and if that flag is odd, you could get something good out of it.
There was a dark matter in here. Is there a chance that there is a better chance of having dark matters in a place like Castle Evelyn that is weighted more heavily?
Not to my knowledge. My understanding of the dark matter hunt is that it's not really weighted by any of the treasure settings. But yeah, there are plenty of chests in here, and if you are doing a dark matter hunt, don't be like me. I have done a dark matter hunt on stream and completely forgotten Castle Evelyn, and there was like 3 or 4 in there. It would have made the run a lot faster.
Irward gets the HP ran out. It's a baller move. You'll love to see it. He gets a full moon out of it. That Edge will surely appreciate it.
Gets back rowing for Edge. That depending on the fights, that's almost a key item. Being able to keep him alive and doing full damage from the back row. Yeah.
Yeah, that's very nice for Hereward.
Xenocat going to get the same treasure, but no Edge in their party yet.
Here we're going to exit out, save, and dive back in, while our runners are refitting in between trap bite chests. Do want to say, do be like Hupton and follow her on all the things that she's doing, because
I
she's
love
awesome.
I love the assumption that I follow myself. Maybe I'm sick of me too. But
there are some people on who, like some celebrities, who the only people they follow are themselves. You're like, I wish I had that.
I still love that the KFC Twitter, the only things that it follows are the Spice Girls and 6 guys named Herb.
Yeah.
But yes, also give Sheep Launcher plenty of love as well. He very much deserves it. And Harump, our restreamer, Firebird Lover, our tracker, they're doing a difficult work on a long flag set. They may be here a while.
Firebird Lover is the real MVP, offering to be your personal objective tracker with 20 objectives, just going above and beyond. So Harump doing the thing as well. Give all of them a follow. They're great. And now both runners have run into the Black Cat and Lamia. Of course, there are 2 Black Cats because it's Halloween.
Naturally. They're also ruining everyone's day because it's Halloween. Is that how that works? I don't know.
Well, I guess they're called Black Cats, but they're more like white leopards with black spots.
Yeah. There's very little black going on. It's mainly like a bluish gray, I dare say.
Maybe that's a Halloween costume. Maybe they're actually entirely black underneath that costume.
There you go. They've dressed as snow leopards for Halloween.
Here we're going to give it a second try. Xenocat, meanwhile, has taken down the Lamia and 2 of the Black Cats, and that Cecil is covering up. Xenocat is through.
That Cecil is going to pay so many dividends. Okay.
Wow.
Okay.
Oh. I thought this was supposed to be a mean save?
I was in the middle of saying that Cecil was going to be so valuable just on that cover strat alone, and then, okay, he's just going to... Well, actually, he's going to get just destroyed by these ogres, which is not on the intended docket.
And Xenocat didn't save, so this is going to be a little bit tricky.
Yeah.
He needs to make it through.
And we did see their Cecil has that crystal sword, that crystal shield, but nothing else. Because again, Sineki. So not much physical defense.
And expected to cover up for 4 other characters in critical HP. But the Xenocat gonna get the size off, it looks like, and those ogres missing.
And Rosa is zerked for some reason. Oh, if she has mute arrows equipped, then that actually makes a ton of sense.
Living that tele-life, size misses. Here we're going to run into the same problem, and might be even worse because Here Word's Tele is down to start.
Yeah, this is going to be a tricky situation. That's the story with Lit 3. You can't take much of anything for granted.
No, this is those 2 houses down the block, where the one house gives out full-size candy bars and the other one might have a serial killer in it.
Rather extreme edges.
Twin Harp.
That is a twin. Okay.
K-Trap is on.
Well,
Harp on is not required, but Xenocat going to loot out the Arrest of Evelyn Castle with no fear. They've done all 3 things, but what an Evelyn Castle.
Yeah, and this opens up our possibility space quite a bit. There are a lot of trap chests in this game, and any one of those could have an essential item. This Twin Harp could be essential. We have so many boss hunts still to do. Could be Val, could be the Element Squad, could be guards, you know.
Xenocat heading straight up there, giving the people what they want. And also, going into the Chocobo Forest, there are a bunch of chests here.
Yep, 3, I believe, but they're all pretty well hidden. You have to, go rummage around the woods for a moment.
Earward getting through those Mad Ogres with less of an issue than I feared. So Hereward's in business.
Yep, and he's in the music business as well with that Twin Harp. We'll see if he makes the same play or is going to follow the hook that's been lingering in his pocket. Doesn't open the last chest for some reason. We know it's fine. Just leaving it alone.
Yeah,
disrespect on the chest.
Maybe lost track of how many trap chests he had done, or maybe just his fingers didn't want him to go there. But while Xenocat is making the walk, and Hereward is going to follow them down. Wanted to ask Hupfin, what's the best thing you've ever gotten trick-or-treating?
You know, that is a good question because I genuinely don't remember. It would probably just have been like very large candy. I don't think I've ever gotten anything like special.
So there were some guys who were in a hunting lodge by where I grew up, who would give my brother and me a literal garbage bag filled with candy bars and popcorn balls and soda and just all kinds of stuff, beef jerky. It was incredible. They were the best, and that's what that Castle Evelyn feels like to me.
There were so many worse ways that sentence could have ended, and I'm glad that's the direction it went. Anyway, let's have some music.
Wait, that means I sing now, right?
So I saw the blue robe and I got excited, and then I saw it was Water Hag and I got sad.
But then we saw that Water Hag did not go ARG after the third swing, so that means free bosses not on.
Yep. So we'll get a little reprise as Xenocat takes that defense sword out and figures out their next move. And we get from Hereward's damage rolls further confirmation that, yeah, we do not have free bosses on. You're going to have to fight everything out properly.
Yep, and Xenocat heading into the Tower of Zoth to further loot it out.
Yep, now that we know K-Trap is on, this Flame Dog has extra value. They have not gone the hook route, so they could check for a cheeky D-Mist that we know won't be there.
We know that D-Mist is in the Rubicante spot.
And a Dragoon Helm is the Flame Dog reward, so no value from Zot just yet.
No, there are so many bosses that are objectives, and you have to do all of them. That Xenocat heading up to the Magus Sister spot to fight this out. Not a bad play at all. Hereward, meanwhile, heading off, is resigned to the hook route.
And that is the right way to go. We found the Dark Elf in the Magus Sister spot, not one of the objectives on the list.
No, but don't you just want to defeat the Dark Elf wherever he is?
I mean, yeah, but we can come back and do it more overwhelmingly. I think it's more fun that way.
I suppose. Twist my arm.
No.
The Xenocat heading back down. Meanwhile, Hereward heading deep and is going to check that hook. Going to see what the Mad Ogre chest provides, see what the two bosses have in store. Hereward's not looking back.
I could also hit up the Staleman chest. I don't believe he did. And again, now that we know it could have a key item, good time to tackle it.
Now that Staleman chest in the vanilla location in the Evelyn Cave, but I don't believe they were in Evelyn Castle.
I don't believe so either. I think all the vanilla trap chests are in the basement there. I'm honestly not positive. But the Flame Dog chest was definitely not in its vanilla spot. So those are shuffled around, and we just got lucky here.
Yeah. Xenocat gets another objective, going to loot out the waterfall. Hereward gets a white spear. For that cane, he does not have.
Yeah, and I suspect does not want, so that's a dart.
Now I have another random question for you.
Okay, I may have a correlated answer.
Have you ever seen an animated movie from like the 70s or 80s called Animal Olympics?
Not to my knowledge.
I had it on VHS as a kid, and like the big kind of overarching, it followed various animals through various Olympic events, and the big one was the marathon, right? And the two runners were a goat and a cheetah that were running the marathon, and eventually they were matching each other stripe by stripe for so long that they fell in love during the race, and then decided to split the gold medal at the end because they each came in first, holding hands.
Sheep Launcher, you tell these stories as we're doing this commentary. They never go quite in the direction that I expect them to. I know you didn't make this movie, but still.
I did not make the movie. I'd be a lot richer if I did. I'd be either Hannah or Barbara. Anyway, hope you're ready to hold hands as we run this marathon. That's all I'm saying.
You know, I knew I was signing up for this. Is all I'll say.
Xenocat going into the infirmary in the cave Evelyn and finding a dark matter in there, which you hope wasn't about to be used by a patient.
I don't know much about dark matter. I kind of flunked out of astrophysics. So I don't know its medicinal properties.
Hereward blasted through that Mad Ogre chest, got a crystal ring, I believe, which is nice, but is not required. So, Scythe Marshall in chat is finishing the story the way I should have finished it. Everybody who finishes the seed is a winner, and that's correct. But in another more accurate sense, either Xenocat or Hereward or any of the other 14 runners could be the actual winner.
Yeah, given what this seed is, we do have a sizable amount of a sizable number of people running this, and yeah, I dare say everyone who plays this is a winner, and also a little hurt from it, probably, but not terribly. This has been a rather generous Lit 3. But they always take something out of you. Ahem! Here's a Valvolus at the King Queen Evelyn spot. Hooray!
Speaking of pain, so this means that Unsafe is on.
Absolutely.
As if we needed confirmation. Valvolus required for underground access.
Now, Xenocat does have that cane in their party, so they can go for more vanilla strats. I don't know that you really want to go for more vanilla strats. That will make Valvolus punch a fair bit more, and magic is hitting. So we are able to do damage while she's in tornado form.
Yeah, getting Valvolus out of tornado form does lower her defenses a bit. But Hupton, she has a script when she gets out of tornado form, isn't that right?
Oh, she punch.
And she punched, I believe, twice.
Yeah, more than you want her to.
Yeah. And she punched hard. But Hereward gets through.
Yeah, those crystal sword swings, that virus cast, like, good damage output for this party, and Xenocat is not much, not far off those numbers as well. So yeah, who needs safety? We have crystal swords.
Gonna go Burr. And I do want to be serious and kind of follow up from what we were saying earlier. Anybody who plays FF4 Free Enterprise, in my book, whether you want to play a Lit 3 seed, whether you're the best at it, whether you don't want to play a Lit 3 seed at all, you're all winners, and want to encourage everybody who hasn't given this a try, give it a try. It's so much fun, and you can play at any skill level, at any speed. You know, we do a lot of racing here on the channel, but that's just because races are fun to watch. Final Fantasy IV Free Enterprise is so much fun to play, no matter what the speed, and it's just a lot of fun and a great community to be in. So if you're not involved yet, get on in here.
Yeah, like I've mentioned several times that I like to run Lit 3 personally. I never have a timer up. These things can run anywhere from 40 minutes to 5-6 hours, depending on just how mean it wants to be and your own skill level. So running this as a race in the first place, this is, you know, unusual and kind of a testament to everyone's skill and everyone's commitment to the game. That, you know, we want to come together as a community and be like, this is wild. This is a very different way of playing it. But, you know, it's one of so many ways.
It is, and we are glad for our featured runners Hereward and Xenocat that they wanted to subject themselves for our amusement, because this is a whole lot of fun. I don't know if it was originally designed to be that way. I don't know if it was designed to be a meme or what, but it is a lot of fun to watch.
And honestly, coming out of the ZZ4 tournament, like we're looking at these runners getting underground at about an hour in, with we'll say like we have 2 objective lights lit up. That's, you know, they've done a fair bit more, but if you looked at this and we said this was a ZZ3 or ZZ4 seed, be like, I'll buy that.
Yeah, it just goes to show, like, ZZ, when we're in a tournament and ZZ4 just wrapped up, we kind of get blinkered into thinking this is the only way to play the game. And, you know, we kind of get hyper-focused on the flags. And it's good to remember that there are lots of different ways to play this game. The off-season is about showcasing a lot of them.
Yeah, I did not peek the off-season schedule for the coming week, but like we've got what, 4 or 5 different clubs going on with vastly different approaches to free enterprise and vastly different flag sets.
Well, while Hereward is fighting through this jerk of a Demus, and while Xenocat is going to fight Val, I'll just read off the schedule for the week real fast. So tomorrow on this very channel, Free Enterprise, at 8 p.m. Eastern, it's the Monday Community Race. The flag set is named the 3 Towers. So you could be Lord of the Paladins, whatever. The 3 Towers. And on Wednesday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern, it's Enterprise Legacy, that wonderful Legacy Club set up by head dev Zoe Vermillion. On Friday, if you didn't get a chance to do the Monday 3 Towers race, there's a Friday race at 10 p.m. Eastern, also on Free Enterprise. And on Saturday at 3 p.m. Eastern, the Hero's Journey, a brand new club that I'm really excited for. Another legacy type club where that's focused on the Sea Hero flag. That's going to be a whole lot of fun. So just because the tournament is over, we want to welcome in people who kind of started watching during the tournament, the off season. It's a lot more varied. It's very loose. It's a lot of fun. We certainly welcome you to come join us.
Yep, we've got all of that. We got the Pink Puff League. We got all sorts of like newbie friendly kind of stuff. Or you can just do like I do and just play whenever you feel like and don't even bother with a timer or like any other settings that anyone else cares about. Just do your own thing. But as we went through that whole spiel, Hereward got through Demist and is falling underground.
Hereward did such a great job to get through that Demist and couldn't get over that pitfall. Hate to see it.
Gotta push B, man. We did find, though, the Dark Imps are at the top of Lower Babel. That is a double objective. We had to do that location and that boss. So that is great information to have stumbled upon.
Yeah, those Dark Imps at the top of the tower are going to have a ton of HP. It can't be stopped, but they're not going to hit hard up there, so very doable.
The big question for Hereward is, where do you go now? Having all of the underground access that you've got, which is everything but Sealed Cave right now.
Yeah, and here we're going to check out Dwarf Castle, at least for the shops.
Ooh, Either 2 and Cure 3. Nice kit to have.
One-stop shop. I'm pretty sure we've confirmed that there are no J items in shops. But the Dwarf Castle also has lots of loot, so a very you can understand why Hereward is here.
Mm-hmm. And honestly, with this party, you're not as worried about finding those J items, because a lot of them end up being, an item that is a spell. And when you've got Tella, you got a Black Mage, you got Rosa, you got even Edge, you have that AoE damage access, you have that elemental access that you're often leaning on those to provide.
The J items you kind of miss the most when they're gone are hourglasses, which isn't really a problem because there are no, you can't turn the encounters on and there are no free bosses, and sirens, so which there are all kinds of ways they can be kind of ported out of the game anyway.
Yeah, we get an Animal Candle Supervisor. Thank you, Hereward. I strongly suspect that we're not going to see any sirens at all. Every time that I have had an edge in a Lit 3 seed, I'm like, let me double check, go hit a trap chest in Lower Babel, do a sneak, oh, it's a Cure 1. Right.
A Cure 1 is kind of like a siren in the way that, and I was trying to find a simile here, but it's not really a simile that could be made.
It's like how a raven is like a writing desk. Like, you're going to have to make something up that doesn't make any sense to justify your statement.
Lewis Carroll, you trickster.
Oh, did Lewis Carroll roll the seed?
That'd be a great get if we could get Lewis Carroll in this community. Zoe Vermillion saying Poe wrote on both. Oh, that's Poe.
Yeah, Edgar Allan Poe. I guess. We don't know that he used a desk. I mean, someone probably knows. He's a well-regarded American writer and probably has a fair bit of scholarship about him.
And I think he has a whole museum filled with his furniture in Baltimore. But I haven't been there, so I don't know if there's a desk. Xenocat is through that Demus. Now, with so many other things going on when you're trying to figure out what's in the seed, you know, this is kind of the oldest thing in the book, but that Demus does have a key item, and you can't really forget, or you don't want to forget that the Demus, to check the Demus at some point.
Yeah, that can very well be your Darkness Crystal or Baron Key or any other manner of absolutely required key item. And like you're saying, Sheep Launcher, it's very, very easy to forget it exists.
You know, don't be like me and go on stream and forget to check it for 40 minutes. Just don't do that. It's easy not to do. Just don't do it. Here we get to Luca Key, and now the entire underground is open up.
Quite the pull from the Warriors. I'm just going to double check before I go too deep into my sentence, but I am pretty sure that we're not going to be able to get around that via a warp glitch. I'm pretty sure that all glitches are turned off pretty universally on Lit 3. However, I can't see where in the YAML that is, so I'm finishing this sentence with no confidence.
And I did not see what Xenocat picked up from that alert chest.
Zoe confirming that glitches are off, so yeah, you need that if there's something in the cave.
Yeah. Her Rumfar restreamer confirming that it was a Stardust Rod in that alert chest.
And the pink tail in the Feymarch freebie.
French vanilla.
Yeah,
Wrong kind
and
of tail.
required.
Very much so.
And crystal armor from one of the alerts that runners are not generally very happy about that one.
Xenocat not even trying to sneak off of these alerts leads me to believe that they know that they're not going to get sirens from these alerts. No way, no how. Gets an X-Cal. Too bad dupes are not on.
Yeah, that's dark fodder at this point.
But dark matter.
I mean, these chests are equal chance of dark matter as well. This, saying who in chat mentioned it, but like, yeah, having a T-Money dark matter, like Zoe mentioned, you're checking every single, and K-Trap, you're checking every single chest. So you're coming out of this with, you'll probably have the dark matter that you need by the time you leave the planet, and you're gonna have some sweet gear.
Now, when you play a regular game, are you a completionist? Like, do you want to check every single chest? Or are you content to just kind of go along with the story?
Oh, if we're talking like, you know, like when I played this in the Pixel Remaster and playing the other ones that way, absolutely, I was hitting up every chest. There's stuff there. I want stuff. If you're playing other... go ahead.
I was just going to say, if it's closed, it could be anything in there.
Could even be another chest.
Yeah.
But, you know, playing other flag sets, there's some where, you know, we've really tuned the treasure to just not be terribly worthwhile. And if K-Trap is off on top of that, it's not worth the risk of looting all sorts of stuff. So you just kind of don't do it. I know a lot of runners in the community, they pride themselves on their low treasure counts on a lot of flag sets, because that's time you're not spending looting. It's time you're spending in boss fights and, you know, progressing through the game.
Here we're going into the Queen spot at the Feymarch, finding King Queen Evelyn. Now, this is not free, so they're going to spam Fire 2s and Fire 1s until you kill them dead, but that's not really an issue. The Fire 2 and Fire 1 by these characters, not an issue. So it's just going to take a little bit of time, and then Hereward's going to get some information. We don't even know if Case Summon is on at this point.
Yeah, unfortunately, Hereward has the information. He has gone through that water hag fight, but I guess did not fully process what was happening there. I don't think he realizes free bosses are off yet. You do need to fight these bosses, I'm afraid.
And now Hereward is swinging. I want to say that Hereward knew, but Edge was just unwilling to take any more swings. That's my headcanon.
Well, then just pass his turn to Cecil. Cecil will do it. the Holy Paladin, the Shining Paragon. He'll kill the royalty, no problem.
I remember the first time I played a Mystery Seed. Sorry to bring it back to me. The first time I played a Mystery Seed that free bosses were not on, I was going against King Queen Evelyn, and I was just waiting for them to off themselves, and I must have waited 5 minutes. Like, it took way too long for me to realize. So I understand where Hereward is coming from.
Oh, it is. Wow, this is the value tower. Triple required.
Gets that Pan. Pan is required as an objective. Dark Imps are required as an objective. The Xenocat is in business.
So I think their tally is like 8 or 9 now. That Pan will hit up to 10. Here where it gets through Evelyn Royalty, just gets a Rune Axe. Not decisive information one way or the other as to Case Summon.
The tracker Firebird Lover informing us that is 9 objectives for Xenocat. We still have a key item to check. Xenocat will get another one on their way out of the tower.
Yep, and of course we're burying the lead here. That was Evil Wall at Leviathan.
Which we're not sure yet.
We're really hoping Case Summon is off now.
Well, who's we?
Good point.
I mean, who is this we?
I would say the Royal we, but we just killed the Royals, so...
Xenocat gets an Avenger. So, a very profitable tower.
And honestly, like, I'm pretty sure Xenocat did not take the Crystal Armor at all. I'm one that, like, I tend to take the Crystal Armor and hope for the Avenger Sword. You get that combination that they now have. The main drawback of Crystal Armor, that you can't Zerk a character, it don't matter no more.
Yeah, that would be super nice. Hereward, diving for a trap chest in the Sylph Cave, did not heal up his party before running into the ghosts, and that's also got flamed.
As Xenocat goes and does the Dwarf Castle fights, finding the Baron Guards, that's another objective. So that's going to put them at 10, even before the Pan turn in. And we've got another boss and another character check right behind them.
Yep, Baron Guards not free, but in the first spot with these levels with a Crystal Sword Avenger Cecil, not an issue.
Oh, and the perfect piggy target.
And still a casual 3,500 from a P vessel. That Crystal Sword. Oh, just doing it.
Yeah, it's a bit strong, that piece of equipment. A little strong.
Hereward gets through that ghost chest.
So it turns out we had delayed dolls and a Sid as a character, so no Sid. But these will be very easy dolls to take care of.
French vanilla dolls, not much HP here, not an issue. And while they're getting through this, Prof NES asking a question, are hidden objectives a thing in any flag set? Hupton, I believe you were saying when we first started doing this whole mystery flag thing, that used to be a thing. Is it anymore?
Not to my knowledge. As far as I'm aware, anytime that you're running any mystery seed, the objectives are spelled out for you. You won't know what the requirement is, so you may have to do all of them manually, you have to do a subset. I believe you are always told if it wins the game or gives you the crystal as well. But you know, this way you're kind of getting that information ahead of time. Otherwise, you would start in, Guiding Way would show up, would tell you the objectives, and then it becomes like who can read and spam through that faster, like becomes a racing concern. And also, we don't want to read fast. Like, that's effort. That's effort we could be putting into going fast.
Yeah, and not knowing what the objectives are just seems like too much to me.
Yeah.
I mean, I admire anybody who really wants that, but it's a step. It's a step too far for me.
Yeah, I know. Like, there are plenty of randomizers that do this whole mystery flag set idea, and I'm thinking of specifically how the Link to the Past randomizers can do it, where you're not told up front, for example, how many crystals you need to get into Ganon's tower, but that information is readily findable. It's a consistent location you can go to, get the consistent information from it. So it's like an initial mystery, but it's still available. I don't know of anywhere you don't get any of that intel until you do the thing. But I'm sure there is one. There's a lot of randomizers out there. There's a lot of communities that like all sorts of different challenges.
Yeah, and more power to them. That's just the way this one works. Here we're finding some nice items here in the Sylph Cave, but nothing in the way of key items.
Yeah, and even he spent all this effort healing up his party and then gets the Toad Lady. The Toad Lady will never hurt you. It will only make you sad.
That's what it says in my dating profile.
Do you also offer a crystal shield? I feel like if you do, that should be the lead.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I can't lie. Just can't do it. Xenocat going underneath the Dwarf Castle to see if there are any dark matters hiding out under there. I don't know if Xenocat has a good idea of their dark matter count.
I mean, personally, I wouldn't worry about it too much until you're about to go up to the moon. I've heard the advice and actually found it to kind of pan out in my own play. You can probably get all the dark matter you need between the Earth and the underground before you ever go to the moon, unless you're like super constrained on like not having Luca key and not having access to dungeons. So you're generally able to do that before you go off. So when you're near that point, you start checking like, how close am I really? And you may find you have 31 already.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but it is able to you are able to over-collect dark matters. It won't tell you that you've already achieved collecting the required dark matters.
Yep, you just keep stacking them, and once you have 30 or more, then you can go to Corey and finish out the objective. And you can keep collecting them after you've done the objective, and then they're just a nuisance.
But they're fun.
Yeah, but like I could put other things in my inventory, like swords.
Like crystal swords, which are or Excaliburs, which are apparently chock-a-block in this scene. Here we're visiting Young without the pan.
Yeah, that's a little unfortunate. He's gonna have to come back down here again and make another run of it. Be a fair bit faster because you're not checking anything, but that's more traversal time. Harumph in chat spelling out the average expectation of dark matter per zone. If you want like a strong dissection of Final Fantasy IV in general or the free enterprise settings specifically, like, this community has got it down.
Speaking of which, Harumph, our restreamer, doing the work. Thank you so much. And Firebird Lover, doing the tracking for these 20 objectives, which is absurd. Hereward gets a rat tail. And Hupfin, being the smart one on this and not just talking about cartoons from the 70s, so... I just wanted to shout out all of those folks.
Once again, I'm very concerned about how that sentence was going to end. I was worried there would be a question.
Hupfin, I have a question.
Oh no.
Do you like free enterprise?
It's all right.
Now, Hereward, cycling through the sprites on the log, meant that a frog actually hopped into the airship. That's always fun.
They're talented little amphibians, I tell you. They've been given Bahamut for their skills.
Oh, so that means the no adamant flag is on, I suppose.
Yep, you would otherwise be getting an adamant armor.
I think no adamant is no adamant 100% in this YAML?
I think it is possible. I have to pull it up and double check. But also gets the spoon, which that flag might be on, might not be on. I don't think it's going to matter. But hey, it's a spoon.
Xenocat wiped out and has to redo Dwarf Castle.
Ooh.
Oh.
Did not realize they had not saved since then. That hurts.
Oh boy. You know, it happens. It happens to all of us. To some more than others. Here we gets a darkness crystal from Sheila 1.
Yeah, Xenocat's gonna go through the dwarf castle again. I'm hoping their next step is actually using that pan rather than dipping back into the Fey March. And yeah, get that headway. Sheila's got goods.
Hereward, not forgetting to check that demist.
For an Earth Crystal, yeah, Heroes is gathering all the key items at this point. This is some strong protagonist Toad energy.
And that is 11 key items. I don't know how much that matters.
Well, usually, once you got 10 or more, your experience bonus goes up. I think that's still the case. I'm not sure.
It's a mystery.
The odds are that no boost is off. Say 10% chance of no boost, 10% chance that the experience will be flat all the way. Oh wait, no, is that? Oh no, it's no key bonus, but it's the same numbers. I don't even know what all the flags do. I think no boost is slingshotting then.
Yeah, I think that's correct. So here we're going to climb the tower. We're going to find a lot of value up here.
Mm-hmm.
Xenocat re-gets that sorcerer robe from the Dwarf Castle. Hereward takes that crystal armor, and so the crystal armor Avenger combo is going to be in play for Hereward at this point. Once Hereward finishes climbing the tower.
Mm-hmm. Xenocat heading back down to Tomra. I'm suspecting at this point they will follow the same path as before and just save before that dive. Having that info on where the warriors are also helps. You can heal up specifically ahead of it.
Yeah, I believe so. Xenocat knew there was dark matter in that back room in Tomra. Did not recheck the dwarf, and we can understand why.
I mean, he changes jobs a lot, but not multiple times per seed.
No, that'd be cool though. If
that
it
would,
was like
yeah,
second dependent.
That would also be like a fair amount of work, and like a lot of text strings to add in, and like I imagine this game is pretty full at this point. It is an RPG.
Sorry, it's full. And that edge, with double longswords, is surprisingly beefy for a lit 3 seed.
And surprisingly beefy for a lit 3 seed, Sineki as well. None of these characters were starting off with anything good. Everyone's been able to stock up.
So here we're going to continue his climb up the tower. He has the darkness crystal. We know K-Trap is on. We're not quite sure if K-Summon is on. Hupfin, if you were running this in Hereward's shoes, what would be your thought process here?
I think my thought process is still about the boss hunting. We do have Force, so we need to find the Legend Sword, and we do. I'm just writing down the list. We do need to get the Magma Key. That's it in terms of key items that we are missing. We don't know that we need the Baron Key at all. Our face at Baron was Golbez, so there may be no bosses we need. So I might be like, okay, I'm going to the moon, I'm going to the subterranean, but I'm just checking the bosses for now. Because behemoths, red dragons, they're mean, they're not friendly, they don't like me. I would not like to talk to them right now, thank you.
Yeah, and we still have a bunch of bosses to go. We have Mylon Z, I believe, all the elements.
And we have those and Baigen. And we have the Crystal Sword Altar as a location to do.
Sure. So, yeah, the moon is going to be certainly required at some point. Just a matter if you want to finish off all your checks on the blue planet. Before then, there's another boss at the top of the Tower of Zot that we don't know about. There's a boss at the bottom of the Seal Cave.
That is true.
That's what we have access to at the moment. And we are not sure. We know that random encounters cannot be turned on. We do not know if that means we have to go through trapdoors or behemoths.
That is one of those that I always just expect is on. I believe it is possible for it not to be on, but like I just assume it will be.
Yeah, the word no does a lot of work in that. We can think, but
yeah,
until we're entirely 100% sure, I try not to use the word no.
Yeah, and I'm doing all this with the YAML that Zoe Vermillion put together to make Lit 3 what it is. I have that on the other screen, and I'm like scrolling through and reading to try and be accurate. But yeah, keeping the doors, keeping the behemoths, those are both 90% odds that you will have to do those. So that's enough for me to be like, we're probably gonna have to deal with it.
Yeah. I mean, if you told me something was 90% sure, I'd treat it as 100% in my day-to-day life, but you know.
And then XCOM shows up.
So there's a discussion in chat about the agility, and we know that the hero flag's on because we saw Rosa dip into the changing room on Mount Ordeals. Is there a chance that could be overridden by vanilla agility to make Cecil the agility anchor?
I don't believe so. I know this has been discussed, and it's actually clarified on the website, which is the thing that I don't have pulled up. But I believe Sea Hero overrides vanilla. Or, no, Seth Marshall is saying it is the other way around.
And okay. Zoe. No, yeah. Better than me, certainly. I'm not going to say they know better than you.
That is one of those interactions that I frequently forget, and we'll just pull up the site, and I should have done that in the middle of the sentence instead of later, but
It's like the dark matter in the infirmary for me, which is I'm willing to believe that it exists and has something to do with something, but I have no idea what it is. Hereward gets a Dragoon Helm from the Sylphs. Once again, we don't know if K-Summon is on.
That is only 2 whiffs out of 5, I believe it is. So, not totally conclusive yet. We did see Hereward sitting on 25 Dark Matters as he was scrolling through his inventory, so that is a good quantity to be at.
Here we're going to check out that Dwarf Castle. Not much in there, besides some Dark Matters.
Yeah, this is really one that you're doing just to clear out this one objective, more so.
Yeah. Which I suppose that's important.
Yeah, you kind of have to do things.
I already did something today.
Well, that's one thing. Then you have to do one other thing. Then you've done things. That's how pluralization works in the English language.
And then I have to do 20 things? That's a bunch of things.
I mean, if you're running the seed, yes, you do have to do 20 things.
Yeah. We don't have to. Well, we have to do one thing.
Yeah.
Which is continue to talk until they tell us to stop.
Well, we also have to watch. We're doing 2 things, Sheep Lodger. We're talking and we're watching.
True. And
that's multitasking. Put that on a resume.
And you're doing 3 things, which is talking and watching and entertaining. I'm not binding myself to that. Hereward slicing through those Baron guards as if they were free. Xenocat gonna get their Dragoon Helm. Okay, so I do want to clarify the agility situation because chat has done wonderfully in spelling it out. I just wanted to get it on stream. So, if Sea Hero normally makes the hero the agility anchor, vanilla agility, if it is on, overrides that. And so if Cecil is in your party, Cecil will be your agility anchor, what everything bases their agility around. And if not, if Cecil is not in your party, but the vanilla agility flag is on, even if Sea Hero is also on, the person in the middle slot is going to control your agility.
Yep, and that person in the middle controlling the agility, that is the, I won't say vanilla, but default behavior in Free Enterprise. When vanilla agility is not on, but Sea Hero is also not on, that's just where it goes. Because that is actually Final Fantasy IV's default, to use Cecil when he's in the party, but in those cutscenes and those moments where he's not, it technically is leaning on the middle character.
Yeah, and in the original game, there just aren't that many times when Cecil is not in your party.
Yeah, I think it's literally just cutscene battles.
People in chat trying to bring Wacky into this.
Wacky does not follow your law. I mean, it does follow the laws. It's actually like pretty understandable. The more you come to know Free Enterprise.
Wacky is a lot of fun, by the way. Do Wacky. It's fun. Just pick a random Wacky flag and do it. Xenocat gets their Bahamut and Spoon, and their objective.
They are in good position to head up. Yep, go visit Sheila, get their Darkness Crystal and their Heroine Robe, it turns out.
Yeah. So both Hereward has his objective, and Xenocat will have theirs in a second. And then, for Hereward, it's a decision: take on the evil wall at the king, go into the Seal Cave, or head to the moon. Or maybe
climb the
take
tower.
That Earth Crystal. And that's what he's going to do.
Now, Xenocat does not have that. They have not gone back to the Mist Dragon pickup. We'll see from Hereward if that's going to be valuable at all. This could actually be a complete whiff on his front. Doing Tower of Zod is not an objective in and of itself, and we do have a fair amount of boss hunts, but that doesn't guarantee that they're in that second spot.
Yeah, I questioned chat where the Earth Crystal was. Xenocat has access to that Earth Crystal. It's at the Mist Dragon, which Xenocat has defeated but has not checked. And actually, Xenocat going to save right outside of Mysidia and going to check that, check Rydia's mom. Rydia's mom's going to give us a rock. And then Xenocat will have a decision to make. Mom's always know when to give us an Earth Crystal. Xenocat not resetting out of it, but is going to head back to Mysidia and summon that Lunar Whale.
Yep, you've got that darkness crystal in hand. You might as well set that up. Might as well take a moment to stretch. You know, we've been at this for an hour 41. You know, we got the easier job here in the booth just talking about it. I mean, I got plenty of water. But you know, you're still racing this flag set, and that there is a bit of energy and a bit of stress that comes with that. So yeah, stretch out a little bit.
Sometimes you just need to breathe. And here we're checking the treasury. Got 3 dark matters in there.
Again, we saw he was at 25 coming out of the Sylph Cave. He might be at the 30 mark. If not now, then by the time he finishes Zot.
Yeah, gonna check the sub-treasury here. Finds another one, so definitely picked up 4 in Zot.
29.
And that's 29. Oh boy.
There's I don't remember exactly from Xenocat's dip, but there's a fair chance there's one in the Tower of Zot, and that will tidy it up for him.
It will. That'll be very nice. Xenocat going to check out the hairdryer's chest on the moon. And also all the other chests for any stray dark matters there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
so
one trap chest up here on the surface. Pretty good splash of XP if you can knock it out. The earlier the better, but no hourglasses available to help make that seamless.
How would you have rated that treasury hub then?
Numbers can't accurately grasp dark matter. It's beyond our like a 7, I guess.
Yeah. I'm gonna give it a 3i.
Ah, yes.
Here we're going for all the chests, looking for that flame dog chest as well.
Oh, and Xenocat finds the pass, so the pass is around and is in the item pool.
Good to see.
I mean, 50-50 chance of that being the case. If I'm reading the stats correctly, 25% chance of there just not being a pass. But that is a nice thing to have. It encourages you to like sweep through the moon in one go as much as possible, and then just never return.
Here we're going to finally beat up that dark elf we've been promised for an hour. It doesn't seem like a crystal sword attacking that dark elf.
No, that seemed like an Avenger.
It gets the job done, but it's not the righteous fury that we've come to expect.
We are seeing from Xenocat, behemoths are on. They are in Cape Bahamut, and they are getting these encounters.
Yep, Xenocat prepared for it, and here is a duplicate edge for Hereward.
So this will actually be our confirmation about no dupes. I don't think we've had a dupe yet.
I think you're right.
But Xenocat's battle will also be our confirmation about experience in random encounters. Not that we can turn them on, but if they're worth something, they're worth something.
Hereward also gets a Porum.
No dupes. Edge was not offered.
Yep. A superfluous edge.
And no XP from random encounters. We only saw the GP drop.
Ooh.
And that's Odin in cave value. And that's Xenocat bailing.
Yeah, that, especially when you don't know that K Summon is on, that is a nope. That's a no. Here we're meanwhile encountering the good doctor on top of Zot. And dispatches him and all of his forms very quickly.
There's actually a valid question raised in chat that I don't have an answer to. Hereward has been keeping that Tella down for a little while now, and was presented the opportunity to swap him out with a Porum to do some extra healing. Why not? Why keep Tella around in a situation that you're likely dealing with vanilla agility or most certainly see hero? Like, you can't use him as an anchor.
Yeah, that's a good question. It's not one that I have a response to at this point. We do know, thanks to Xenocat, that the experience from those encounters is off. So maybe Hereward has that in the back of his mind and is thinking that there's no really good way to get Porum at this stage up to the level that he's going to need her to be BZ fight ready. So it's better to have Tella to be able to cast a Berserk or do something in that Z fight.
And that is true. We were talking earlier about the experience distribution, and slingshotting might be off. We don't really want to commit to testing that with like the fight availability that we have. So understandable to just commit to your party, but then keeping Tella down as well is just a little surprising to me. Could also be completely unintentional, and he's just a frail old man that does fall down pretty easily.
Could be that, with a Crystal Sword Avenger Cecil, there's no reason that you need Tella to be around in these fights, so there's no reason to spend that bandwidth bringing him up.
Yeah, I mean, here where you can see he's not even bothering with treasure chests anymore. Now he's got his 30 dark matter. He's like, you've got a certain set of focus that you're on. There's no trap chests down in the Barren Waterway. I ain't touching the Barren Waterway. I'm just getting through it.
Yeah. There is a certain kind of focus when you're an hour 50 into a seed. And and you've kind of waded through and struggled sometimes, but done real well some other times. But now it's time to really put the pedal to the metal, and Hereward seems to be in that spot. Hereward does encounter that Golbez at the Bygone spot, as was foretold.
Yeah, did not... Oh, we see the Legend Sword out of a trap chest on the moon. That's neat.
That's an objective.
So yeah, that your main fear when you get a K-Trap seed is just the fact that the lunar subterrane has so many trap chests.
Yes.
And there are so many key items that are terminal or nearly so, and therefore there's a decent chance for them to be up there, because they're not going to block you from anything else. And so you end up having to fight a lot of red dragons, a lot of giants, a lot of behemoths to try and find something. Also, we didn't move Pale Dim around.
No.
Sorry about that, folks.
Yeah. Harumph forgot to move Pale Dim. We'll talk to him about that. But the other issue with having so many key items on the moon in the trap chest is that there's no place to save on the moon.
I mean, there are, but they're obnoxious places, and there can be a lot of chests between them.
Isn't there one place in just outside of the Ogopogo spot of the
There's, I mean,
Masamune altar that like looks like it should have had a save point and it just doesn't.
I feel like I have heard tell that, yeah, there was going to be one in some version of the game, or there is one in one specific version, but not in the US version that we're all familiar with. Yeah, it's a perfectly nice 9-tile square with a little bridge. Put a save point there, but no, you didn't. At least it's better than Crystal Tower in 3. Oh boy.
Earward going to the Baron Throne and finds a King Lear situation. There are 3 sisters on the throne. That's one for all you classical studies kids out there.
Oh, is Edward gonna show up? Have we summoned a bard?
I say.
No, it's another ninja.
Yep.
If that was Edward, I would have left. We would have had to call in a replacement.
Well, I mean, it is a duplicate, so maybe it's a Shakespeare.
And Zoe, correct me, that is an Edward. That is an Edward. He just decided he's too cool to be called Edward.
Edward, yeah. Xenocat got the sweet feeling of defeating that vanilla Pale Dim and not much else.
Still a good path to have gone down with that Legend Sword being in that area. So still a good move nonetheless. A Sand Ruby coming from the Baron Trash Can, so that is trash, but no.
We know there's no dupes, and we know that there's a cane in that bed.
Yeah, we could take that cane. I don't think Hero's Party has one, but at this point, nah.
Yeah. If your party's complete, he's gotta take a seat. No cane.
I will give you one more little bit of applause with my foot actually down to transmit the audio.
Please, somebody put that on Clips and Seeds so I get some validation. Mylon C in the Baron Basement. We don't know if K-Summon is on, but we do know that this is an objective.
Yep, that Baron Key became very required, which means that Earth Crystal is very required. It just took forever to get there.
It's a Lit 3 seed. We can't say it took forever to get there. Everything takes forever to get everything.
That's fair. I'll give you that one. But this is a summon spot. They gave us a bow. K-Summon is increasingly looking off at this point.
So what if K-Summon was on, but just 0 out of 5 K-Summon spots out a key item? Would we ever know?
We wouldn't know unless we got a reveal. But yeah, that is entirely possible. That a flag can be on. It can try to roll key items into a pool and just come up empty. It happens.
So Chad is reminding me that finding the magma key and dropping it down the well is an objective. And this is rapidly turning into the most obnoxious magma key placement that could possibly exist.
Yeah, I mean, if you thought it was bad enough to have the magma key be underground, but that's more comedy than anything. Throwing it in a double red dragon chest deep in the lunar subterrane, that's nasty.
I do want to remind everybody there are 14 racers running this Lit 3 seed. These 2 runners plus 12 others. Nobody has completed this yet.
Nobody has forfeited this yet.
This is just incredible all the way around.
Yeah, we are 2 hours in. Everyone is committing to the bit, and I salute them.
Xenocat finding out the hard way. Well, Xenocat not finding out, but just seeing
running
up
is
on
the
your
old
screen.
problem.
Yeah, that those shields that the carries carry protect them from Quake.
Yeah, it's like in Zelda Breath of the Wild. Like they tell you, go use your shield and it's just surf. You just surf on your shield. Like that, they've learned how to do that, and so Quake's, it's whatever. They're not fussed by it. Vanilla Giant, it turns out. So, talking about committing to the bit.
Wow. Hereward making his way up to the moon. That is a moon. Zoe reminding us that Lit 3 never has glitches enabled. That means no life glitch.
Mm-hmm. So, even though I'm pretty sure these encounters, the trap chests are not considered random encounters, they do give the XP. You can't life glitch shenanigan your way into grinding off of these. You got to take what you're given, and that's that.
Yeah.
But also, this is Lit 3. You're probably being given just about everything. So, our runners are actually going to have pretty good levels going into Zeromus. I typically find with Lit 3 the early game really obnoxious, really tricky trying to get your footing. But after a while, you've just done so much of the game that the end game kind of goes smoothly.
Yeah, it's easier when you actually, take the time to do everything to realize that everything that you've done has been setting up for what you need to do in the future, which is kind of how the vanilla game works.
Yeah, I mean, the vanilla game is also like a good 20 hours or so, but we speed that up a little bit.
Well, just a little bit in the Sunday Slapdash.
But yeah, usually just a little bit in the Sunday Slapdash. My memory of past seasons of this, we'd have flag sets that you look at them and you're just like, what do we do? Like, what's going on? And then you go do one or two objectives. It's like, congratulations, you're done. And it's like, I gave myself a whole evening. It's been 20 minutes. I was expecting more video game. But Slapdash can do that to you sometimes.
Now with, how many things are a mystery in Lit 3 seeds? There's a question in chat, whether the stats for Zeromus are a mystery. The answer to that is no. The stats for Zeromus, the script for Zeromus, is completely unchanged. There is a sprite change for Zeromus, although that's not guaranteed in Lit 3, I don't believe. Zeromus changes form, but does not change anything that Zeromus does.
And normally when foes are throwing out the Zeromus flags, it's like, whose butt are we going to kick? And it is a wide mystery. Here, it's probably Zeromus's butt. 90% chance that he didn't even bother to dress up for Halloween. That's jerk.
Just, what a party pooper. Really is the worst. Just the worst. I mean, if he... Not only does he threaten to destroy the entire planet, but he also doesn't play with us. Just the worst.
It just reminds me of that tweet of someone going to a Halloween party dressed as Babadook, except the Halloween party was really more of an adults drinking wine kind of vibe. And then Zeromus would just be the opposite situation, where he just comes up with that adults drinking wine vibe, and everyone's in their nice paladin and dragoon costumes.
Yeah.
They're all just looking at him like, come on, man.
That is also the thing, one of the things about Lit 3 is you don't always get the wonderful character palettes that Free Enterprise likes to showcase. Here we got the vanilla costumes, so kind of a reverse Halloween situation going on here. So, I'm. One time I was giving out candy for Halloween, and two girls showed up, and they were just dressed in normal clothes. I'm like, oh, those are interesting. What are you supposed to be? And the one turns to the other and says, oh, I'm her, and she's me.
Did they look alike?
Yes, they did.
Okay.
They were like a year or two apart, maybe, but like they were friends. But they weren't twins. But
obviously, twins would make this the funniest story.
Twins would just be actually hilarious, and but yeah, they were just friends who decided to dress up as each other, and I just had no context for what each of them normally dresses up as.
So now here's the question: Palom and Porum, would they do Halloween dresses each other? I think Palom would suggest it. Porum would shut it down. Personally, I think she would not go along with it.
No, I think Porum would suggest it, and Palom would agree enthusiastically. That's my suggestion.
He would also like try to be the most obnoxious version of Porum. Like it would be a total like siblings messing with each other kind of thing.
Yeah, he would be like, Palom, you're behaving badly.
This cute Palom giving his sister bonks on the head for an hour till the elder shows up, has to separate the two.
Yeah, he'd totally take advantage of that.
Anyway, here's a free fight that's not free.
Yes. The Paladin will not make Karate Man say ouch.
Fortunately, it doesn't look like the Karate Man will make the Paladin say ouch, so we should be able to get through this fight.
Man, I hope nothing important happened while I was telling my little story.
Well, Hereward got through the Odin fight for what looked like no super substantial reward. But hey, you got through the Odin fight, so good job.
Odin at the Bahamut spot, one of the toughest bosses in the toughest spots. Even if you don't get anything, it just getting through it is its own reward.
Here at the Wyvern spot, we get a white shirt, but that is the Crystal Sword altar, so that is another objective on Xenocat's list.
Yeah, even though Xenocat just got a plain white tee from that, hey there, Delilah, that's an objective.
Hereward is going to get that Legend Sword once he gets through these red giants, having done the classic double dip of the door in the subterranean, the one that it always turns me around. You're just holding up, and then you go through a door, and then all of a sudden you've now gone through that same door because camera perspective, I guess.
It's like you gotta reorient us to make us change our perspective of that.
Yeah, I mean, the lunar subterranean, as a dungeon, as a layout, it makes total sense if you can just think about the spatial relationships the way the designers did, which is not easy, but it's doable.
I mean, aren't you well versed in mind reading?
I'm sufficiently versed in lunar architecture. So I got that going for me, which is nice. Took an elective in undergrad, you know.
Yeah, sure. I mean, will you? How about lunar interior design? 'Cause I
Oh
wanna
no, I'm
talk about
terrible
the
at it. I'm terrible at interior design. Like you can have a castle on the moon, but it's gonna look like garbage. I'm
Right.
sorry.
I mean, you've got to have some plants in here somewhere. Somewhere.
I, look, I'll refer you to somebody. I'll put you in contact. Y'all can sort it out.
Hereward got his legend sword and is going to take on that vanilla pale dim. Xenocat takes care of Bahamut with his own medicine.
Yep, they have been going through so many fights at this point that just 2 rogues.
2 rogues.
Hidden in that location.
Yeah.
But yeah, like look at level 60, practically. You got all the spells. You want a spell? You got the spell. Here's a spell.
And J spells. J spells are on.
Yeah.
The Xenocat going to beat Ogopogo at the plague spot. So Ogopogo hot desking it in the slippery seed.
Yeah, I mean, you got to get up. You got to move around the space a little bit. You know, just refresh your mind. Periodically cast a really powerful wave and then just beat up a child. That's what you do at the office, right? It's been years since I've been in one.
Sure. Yeah. Well, that's what Ogopogo does, no matter where.
Apparently, yes.
No matter where that Canadian menace is, Ogopogo is going to cause problems and kill children. And chat bringing up, what are the boss locations that we haven't seen? So we haven't seen either of the giant locations. We haven't seen Sealed Cave yet.
Yep.
What else we got?
The Ogopogo altar down in Deep Subterrane. That is it.
That's it. We've seen Package. We've seen both Tower of Zot.
Yeah. Now, of course, that is not both runners have seen all of those. Hereward has done Zot. Xenocat has not. Baron Key came out of that, so he's been through there. They have not. But they are doing this deep lunar dive and clearing out a lot more in that front.
If they were playing as a team, they'd have a lot more information between them, but that's not the case. Speaking of which, playing Final Fantasy IV Free Enterprise is a lot of fun if you're a team. So join the Troy and Chango league and have fun playing as a team.
We got leagues for everything.
Now that we're past the 2-hour mark, do want to thank our intrepid tracker Firebird Lover for keeping track of all this for us, for our tracker Harump, and thanks to Huffman once again. There literally is no one I'd rather spend 2.5 hours on Halloween.
Well, I'm flattered and confused by that sheep launcher, but I appreciate it nonetheless. We are finding elements here down in the Ogopogo spot, so I mean, we're so low on possibilities. But this might be dangerous.
Yeah, it certainly is dangerous, but that is an objective if I'm remembering correctly.
Yeah, we do have that fight that we have to get through. I say it's dangerous because, you know, fair amount of HP, and I believe it has pretty good magic. But Xenocat did get past the Rubicante phase, so the worst of it is over.
Yeah, the Rubicante phase in the Elements fight is the one you really have to watch out for with the Rubicante spells. They can really pack a punch. The Kainatsu and Vavalis portion of this fight kind of nerfed a little bit, and that nuke takes care of Val. Does that objective, gets a white spear. Hereward gets a glass hat. And as chat pointing out, it doesn't appear as if any key items were required on the moon.
No, it doesn't look like it. I mean, the
moon was
K-trap.
required.
Yeah, the moon still required one objective directly and that legend sword indirectly, but yeah, there's been a surprisingly small amount.
And, all those bosses on the moon that you need to take care of.
Yeah, that magma key is either sitting in the last arm chest in the giant, or at the bottom of the sealed cave. Unless there are still trap chests that we've missed in here, I honestly do not remember the count.
Count it. Xenocat diving way deep into the lunar subterranean did pick up another dark matter. I don't know where they're at, but how could we
There's
forget?
dragons.
We haven't seen a red and blue dragon.
Yeah, we did see the double red, but not the red and blue. And yeah, we have not seen from Xenocat's inventory if they are at 30. We know Hereward is, but you're on the moon. There's a lot of trap chests. You're looting it all anyway, so whatever. You're hitting everything. It's only really going to give him any sort of advantage, I guess, in sealed cave, maybe. Also, that's a terrifying hug. You don't want to get hugged by a carry.
I mean, I kind of want to.
If you've got gold needles, it's fine.
Going down the subterranean, fighting, taking on red and blue. Lay that.
Sheep Launcher, I never know what song you're gonna go to next.
Just, just listen to the first note and then take your time.
Xenocat realizing that everything from that save on was not sufficient value, they're gonna bail. When you're at these levels, one fight, it doesn't matter. Whatever.
About that.
We're probably not even concerning ourselves with how agility is set up past a certain point. Zeromus will base his speed on the party and like specific characters, but when you're level 70, your speed is fast and painful. So who cares?
Xenocat heading straight to the giant. It's an objective. There's another trap chest up here. And Zoe rooting for DKC at CPU. We have not seen Dark Knight Cecil yet. Dark Knight Cecil not free.
Mm-hmm. Extremely not free. DKC at Elements can be quite rude as well.
Oh boy. That's 120 thousand HP.
With it being a single target, I think it caps out at the 65k, which is still a lot. And its attacks hit pretty bloody hard.
Yeah, so we've seen most of the bosses in this game, but we haven't seen DKC. We haven't seen Feigen. Any other really dangerous bosses we haven't seen? We know Evil Wall's at the King spot.
Mm-hmm. I'm looking at the list of the bosses and trying to remember what ones we haven't fought.
I mean, Hinata was very early on.
Yeah.
We noted that was our first sign that this seed might have a little compassion for our racers.
We haven't seen Plague. Plague would actually be fairly kind.
Yeah, Plague can be dealt with, I think.
And I mean, there has to be a fourth that we haven't seen because we have 3 slots left. Oh, the Gauntlet.
The Gauntlet. Xenocat charging straight.
Oh, hi,
in element spot, this is going to be rough. All right, folks, you wanted fireworks? Here it comes.
That said, these initial punches are not as terrifying as you might have expected. Palom is holding up well.
Yeah, only taking about 400 damage a shot. Not too bad. Here we're leaving behind a crystal sword.
You can't throw them.
It doesn't need to sell them anymore.
I mean, we didn't need to sell them from the beginning of the seed with how much money there has been.
Right, and with the dark matter hunt and with Team Money, yeah. How many crystal swords have we seen? We've seen at least 2, and you only need 1. Frankly, more generous than I thought a Lit 3 seed was capable of being.
Again, if I read the YAML correctly, treasure is capped at tier 6. Which, a lot of the really fascinating, the really strong stuff, it's above tier 6. You're not going to find it in treasure chest. But with this being Team Money, that just all got turned into cash anyway. And of course, that constraint does not apply to the drops from boss fights at all. So there could be some nifty stuff, like multiple crystal swords. That's nifty.
Speaking of nifty, if we had known, this flag could have offered up the rarest of things, an actually viable arm grind.
That never happens. Generally with good reason. It's so tedious. But Xenocat is through that buy-in fight. I guess that was a little bit of arm grinding, but whatever. And yeah, that is, I believe, 15 objectives for them.
Tracker Firebird Lover lighting up that 15 objectives. So Xenocat 3/4 of the way through objectives.
Has the Forge, completing the Giants, that'll be very soon. The Dark Matter turn in, the Magma Key. Ho ho ho!
Oh.
Merry Christmas!
Ooh, and the Dark Waves are going to continue until morale improves. They are just gonna keep happening. Like 1.5 nerf to big bangs per Dark Wave. Wow.
Yeah. This Zerobos is, well, okay, DKC is already gone. It's gonna do this whole thing about.
It was fun while it lasted.
Yeah, I was gonna do this whole thing about, Zerobos is not the real final boss. This is the real final boss. It barely has HP. CPU is actually not very healthy.
Yeah.
But yeah, that boss right there really forces the giant to be late in your schedule. You are not sneaking through that early for some reward, be it a key item or in this case just the boatload of XP.
But Xenocat makes it look easy, is through the Giant of Babel, never has to go back there again.
So Seal Cave could have Plague or the Old Gauntlet. I believe those are the only bosses we have not seen.
Ruby was somewhere easily taken care of.
Yeah. Ruby was a package boss.
Package. Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, that was one done.
Evil Wall was at the king spot.
Yeah, Evil Wall was at Leviathan, and I guess in theory, K7 could still be on. At this point, it's feeling very unlikely, and I would personally go for Sealed Cape before going for that fight.
As well, Evil Wall is enough of a pain, no matter what your levels are. Evil Wall at King Spot is going to just hit like a meteor. Is going to be very fast. You want a last location, especially if you are fairly sure that you're not going to get anything out of it. You might as well save it until you're absolutely sure you have no other options left. In case you're wondering, still no forfeits, which is absolutely wonderful. Still no finishers. Pureword and Xenocat still fighting, as far as we know, for first place in the Sunday Slapdash. And this is just a wonderful way to kick off the post ZZ4 season.
Yeah, so this is beyond a meaty seed, I think we can describe it. Once you have to do 20 objectives.
Yeah.
I would almost call it a good introduction to Lit 3 in that it has been relatively kind overall, but it's still forcing you to do a lot of the mean stuff that Lit 3 just makes you do. It's giving you these large quests to deal with, and really making you just scour the entire game.
Yeah, I think that's precisely right in that this Lit 3 seed is making you leave no stone unturned, and it's not handing everything to you on a silver platter, but it's it is it is kind of giving the breadth of everything that Free Enterprise has to offer.
Yeah, again, we've seen like multiple Crystal Sword. Like, yeah, Lit 3 has a tendency to be very mean up front, but make you do so much that by the end of it, it's smooth sailing. I think this seed, we got to smooth sailing a little faster, but with so much to do, there is just a lot of routing that you end up thinking about, and a lot of like checking all the boxes, being very thorough about stuff, which a lot of races in the community have a habit not being very thorough because it's faster not to. So this kind of, tweaks your mindset in that way.
Right there. One thing the Lit 3 does is just force you to go places that other flag sets just don't force you to do. But we do have a first place finisher. Who else? X Pancras has finished in first place with a time of 2:24:12. GG's to Pancras. It's just a wonderful Lit 3 seed, and just to show you, you saw the times that Pancras was putting up during ZZ4, to show you that he's doing this in 2:24 just shows you what a seed this is.
Yeah, and then to look at how close these two runners are, like both in terms of like their respective progress, but also we're at 15, 16 objectives on each of them, and they have all but one of the tools to wrap everything up. We still don't know where that magma key is, but it's very likely at the sealed cave at this point. So it's not like anyone's hunting. We're functionally in go mode. We just have to go and do everything.
Yeah. Yeah, I think both of our runners are, neither are floundering at this point. They both have the levels. they both have a clear sense of where else they need to go. Lit 3 kind of forces you to stretch. The early game, as you said, can be really challenging with not a lot of help, but once you get rolling, there's just um, you just have all the tools you need just because you've checked everywhere that there could be tools. So Xenocat's going to clear Baron Castle. You have to imagine that they're going to check the basement before too long, which is going to give them another objective.
Might hold off just a little bit on the expectation, K-summon not on, so probably nothing there. But there's still a boss. You're still looking for a boss. Might as well peek a boss.
Yeah.
Hereward, meanwhile, is summoning the giant. We'll have to fight through really the two beefiest fights that are available. But I fully expect he'll get through them. I think his levels are a little lower than Xenocat's were, but Xenocat breezed through those fights. So I fully expect he'll have no problem as well.
You know, if we were drawing the seed up beforehand to give maximum problems to our runners, you could certainly do a whole lot worse than buy against Element Spot and DKC.
Yeah.
CPU. Xenocat cut through them like nothing, so I expect Hereward will not have trouble with that either. Xenocat going to take down the Matriarchy.
May not be doing so the intended way. Oh, Sandy threw a wall up on herself, and Palom did not get the memo.
But gets through. Good thing Permadeath is not on.
Yeah. That would have substantially changed the tenor of the seed, I feel.
Sure would have, yeah.
Once you have that kind of worry, like, so many strategies get discarded. Because you're like, I don't want to get rid of characters, I don't want to lose all the XP that I've amassed on them, all the gear that they're wearing. So you end up playing things a lot safer. I'm a bit glad that for a restream race, we don't have that on, so runners can show a bit more variety in their strategies, and if a character's down, no big deal.
Yeah, that is an interesting kind of way to approach it, is that Permadeath kind of confines you to certain strategies to route, to defeat certain bosses, because the penalty for having a character down at the end of the fight is just so great.
It is also funny, though, when you get Permadeath and Permajoin both on a seed, which can happen with Lit 3. At that point, it's like you're virtually back to normal, because you can really control what your party looks like.
Yeah. Xenocat, not like the Ramones. They want to go down into the basement and face the Mylon that is on the throne there.
I don't know the Ramones repertoire well enough, apparently.
I mean, how could you not know the back catalog of the Ramones? Honestly.
Pretty easily, it turns out. I've been doing it my whole life. No effort involved.
Yeah, no, it is easy. All you have to do is just not do anything. Ooh, that was a big explode.
Ah, not big enough. Palom's still standing.
Yeah, Hereward gets through. Not an issue, but that explode on took down Rosa at full health. Xenocat takes care of that Mylon. And is heading out, and you have to imagine Xenocat's next stop is the Steel Cave.
There's nothing left at this point.
Yeah. There's Evil Wall for the 1 in 100 shot, but Xenocat pretty much has to go to the Steel Cave. First, they're going to stop, trade in that Legend Sword and add it for a nothing, but an objective. Neither of these runners have actually turned in their Dark Matters either, is that right?
That is correct. Not seen that trade-in happen.
Yeah.
See, Firebird Lover has been doing a much better job keeping track, but I think Xenocat is now at 28 objectives.
28 would be hard to do.
18. Listen, we've been here for 2.5 hours.
Yes.
Okay? It feels like 28.
And Firebird Lover, the one who would actually know all that, is confirming that. 28 would be super impressive. Xenocat's
math classes ended a while ago. We're in English class.
Xenocat is great. I'm not sure they're that great. So Xenocat has to turn in the Dark Matters and then just find that Magma Key, which is probably in the Steel Cave.
Very likely, but we are seeing they didn't finish Sylph Cave, so they have all these trap chests that Magma Key could be here. It's not, but it could be here. That's just going to slow them down. Yeah.
Like I said, if they were playing on a team, they would know this. But, you know, I guess teamwork isn't their thing tonight. Fiery Blizzard in chat asking what's the last objective that Xenocat needs to do. Xenocat has 30 Dark Matters, I believe, but needs to trade them in. Needs to go to Agert, talk to Corey, who's sitting by the telescope, and trade them in.
Oh, yeah, we see here we're sitting on 33 dark. We got enough dark matter. We're good.
Yep. And here we're heading into the Steel Cave. Now this could be, I mean, Xenocat thinks that any of the 6 trap chests down here could have that Magma Key. Another reason that they are probably shying away from the Steel Cave, these trapdoors are on and you can't get away from them.
Yep, gotta deal with them. Fortunately, 4,000 swing on a Crystal Sword, that deals. It deals.
Yeah, and luckily, here we're not making the same mistake I do whenever I play Final Fantasy IV and just open all the doors because they're doors. And they're there. Even though I know there's nothing behind me.
Honestly, I always forget which doors have nothing behind them. And there are a bunch of just blanks, just empty rooms.
Yeah.
In here. The doors exist to annoy you.
The Seal Cave was really the first video game dungeon that had really tough enemies guarding rooms to nowhere, and it was just so dispiriting.
Following a bit of that FF2 tradition, the original FF2, not this FF2, where they just a lot of blank rooms in that game for no real reason, just to fill out the map, I guess. FF1 did it a little bit too, but I feel like FF2 was worse about it.
It built character.
I mean, basically everything you did in FF2 built the characters in one way or another. It's a weird system.
No, I'm talking about your personal character. Like,
I don't have experience points, Sheep Launcher. As far as I know. Hey, here's the Magma Key.
Hey! Hereward got that Magma Key. Braves that Seal Cave. Just needs to... It's either the Gauntlet or the Plague down here. We know that.
And it's gonna take a bit.
It's an old Gauntlet!
Hereward, you still have to do it. I mean, I agree, but you still have to do it.
I don't need the Magma Key. I do need the Magma Key. Is that what happened?
Hereward reset out of the alt gauntlets.
Under protest. It just... You don't want to do it. And yet he... dove right back into it. What do you think? For one of these legacy races, should we make resetting out of Alt Gauntlet a meta objective?
I mean, I'm not on the board for those, so yes.
Take one look. Nope. I don't wanna. Don't wanna. Pointing out that it's probably to adjust its battle speed or something, but that's not as much fun.
You know, honestly surprised that Quake hits the Vamp Girls. I thought they were... I mean, they look like they're hanging from the ceiling.
Literally hanging from the ceiling.
Yeah, I figured they were counted as flying, like the bats.
Maybe the debris from the earth breaking up, like the rocks shooting up.
Yeah, I'll buy that.
Thank you, I'm selling it. Xenocat heading down there as well. Has one last trapdoor to get through.
There's a fair chance these two will be in the Zeromus fight at the same time as this is going.
We could have a double Zeromus fight for second place here. That would be incredible. Yeah, Plague is our one boss that's taking the night off. We have one every single seed that's run. The Twin Harp has been checked. It wasn't necessary, but both runners checked it. Got some nice Lufia 2 music out of it. I suggest you watch the 5 to get that. The Twin Harp boss was Water Hag. And in case you stepped away, Hereward is got into the Seal Cave ahead of Xenocat. We know that the Seal Cave contains the Magma Key that both runners need. Xenocat did not check the Silk Cave trap chests. So even though Xenocat got through those chests pretty quickly, there was nothing really down there And so Xenocat lost a little bit of time down there. Hereward is through that gauntlet, going to warp back out of the Steel Cave. And Hereward, I believe, just has to turn in Dark Matters.
He may have to forge as well, but is at least in the neighborhood to do that pretty quickly. But yeah, at that point, it's just that double dip trip to Aggart. That's why you hold Dark Matters. You know you're going there anyway.
So,
you know how long it took me to realize that?
Okay, so the old meta is single dip Fabul at all costs. The new meta is single dip Aggart at all costs.
Apparently, look, Lit 3 does things to a person. Like make them forget the difference between 18 and 28. I shouldn't do math.
Oh boy. The magma key at the bottom of the Steel Cave, guarded by the Alt Gauntlet. Hereward had Dark Matters for now about a half hour. And now hands them into Corey. Or tries to. Doesn't know which one's Corey.
Yeah, that is not Corey, that is just a skull.
Yeah, you gotta go up the stairs to get to Corey. There you go, that's Corey. And Hereward gets his crystal. 2 hours, 43 minutes.
What does Corey do with the dark? Why does he need dark matter? Or
It does not matter. I literally do not want to know.
But we've already discussed its potential medicinal properties.
He could be curing cancer. I don't want to know.
You know, fair. And you know what? Godspeed, Corey. We wish you the best.
Yeah. He to my mind, he's either curing cancer or he's making people into monsters. That's really all he could be doing with that.
So Corey is why the monsters keep increasing. Anyway, we're about to go fight Zeromus. There's a 90% chance that it's just Zeromus.
Oh. Well. Yeah. Well, Zeromus is here.
Wait, I think mathematically that I'm doing math. Sorry. I think this makes it a 0.1% chance of a Sephiroth butt.
Oh boy. Oh, you're asking me to do math.
I'm warning you that I did.
No, you said you did math, and then you said something that begged me to do math because I just have to double check. But yeah, that works. Xenocat gets there. Hereward resets out.
Had the Avenger on. Yeah. No, you want to set that up. I mean, you have a level. Your toddler is level 70. I don't think it matters that much.
And as long as you're in there, you might as well check your battle speed. Make sure it's where you want it to be. You don't want to have to wipe to Z at these levels at 245 in. You really don't.
And just to catch chat up, we have had a first place finisher, that was X Pancraz, with a 224.12. We have had a second place. Pyre did finish 243.52. So this is now a race for third place as far as we are aware, and it's pretty close.
And the agility, we're not entirely sure whose agility matters here. But the levels should be big enough that both of our runners should be able to get around that.
Yeah, again, we have a level 70 toddler. Palom has 3,000. We didn't find apples. That's 3,000 raw HP.
Wow.
Tella's HP is respectable.
That should not be allowed. That's a casual 5,200 HP Cecil on Xenocat's side. And 5,300 on Hereward's side. No worries.
So let's see what we have. Do we have the classic Zeromus, or do we have interesting Zeromus? It's classic.
Ah.
It would have been. I'm sorry. It would have been perfect if it was an alternate sprite, but it was one of the Zeromus style, like the flip one or the inverted colors.
Yeah.
That would have been perfect.
Or the googly eye one.
Oh yeah.
So, Zeromus, just cementing his bad guyness, refuses to dress up on Halloween. All you have to do, Zeromus, is put on a shirt that says, "I'm a ghost." That's all you have to do. This is going to be really close between our two runners on screen.
Yeah.
They're both throwing out huge amounts of damage. Both going with hybrid strats here. So I always pictured that to attack Zeromus, you go for those blue things, which are the eyes, which I've always
one would imagine, yes.
Yeah. Is that your headcanon as well?
That's what I would figure, yeah. And now you're reminding me of the developer of Baba Is You made a Metroidvania a while back, and he was discussing like the character and boss design. And he was just like, I didn't realize until afterwards. Made a lot of bosses based on eyes. It's just kind of a thing, isn't it?
Well, I have to say before we go, you started that sentence, and I had no idea how it was going to end. So thank you for ending it that way.
Constant nukes going out. That is a crumble on Xenocat's side. That nuke is not going away. That is a finish.
Yes, Xenocat has done it. GG's. We'll wait to get the official time because Xenocat's stream was running a little bit behind, but Xenocat, I believe, has come in third place, and Hereward doing it as well, coming
all right.
The crumble. Both these runners have completed this devil of a scene.
So we have the times that we did get sniped just a little bit. PK4787 took third place with a 2:48.35, but Xenocat takes fourth, the official time of 2:49.02. Hereward in fifth, right behind, 2:49.29. Very impressive times, very impressively close match for the two of them.
Yeah, we'll see if we can get both these runners in here for an interview. But just a wonderful, even though our characters and our final boss didn't want to have a costume party, what a way to spend Halloween.
That was an impressive run and a pretty exciting scene to look at. That is Lit 3 for you. On the kinder side, but still gnarly.
Yeah, in case this is your first non-ZZ4 race, I want to promise you they're not all this bad, but but this was a really fun, if long one, to get us reacquainted to the non-tournament season.
Yep, and we We did have Zoe Vermillion post the flag set in chat. Man, that was a lot to go through. And we do have Hear Word here in the booth. That was a lot to go through, wasn't it?
Yeah, my brain was kind of short-circuiting by the end, and I was just forgetting where Corey was, forgetting the Avenger was equipped, forgetting the Alt Gauntlet was still out there.
Yeah, we were all we realized it was either Alt Gauntlet or Plague, and we were all rooting for Alt Gauntlet. I'm sorry, you know how it is.
Oh, did we see Wyvern? I don't remember Wyvern.
Mist Cave.
Oh, yeah,
So-
that's right.
Yeah, very off the table.
2.5 hours ago.
Yeah, and you didn't stick around long enough to check, but it was a regular Mega Nuke. It wasn't a Wyvern.
I also kept forgetting that there were no free bosses.
We did see that when you were standing in front of the Evelyn royalty for a hot minute.
I went to the kitchen to get a drink, and then I came back, and the fight was still going. I was like, wait, oh yeah. I learned this 30 minutes ago, and I completely forgot in that amount of time.
Oh, to be fair, the number of times I've done that, that's a perfect get up and walk around moment if free bosses are on. But I do see Xenocat is with us as well. Xenocat GG. Both of you just impressive running through a Lit 3.
So I wanted to ask both of you. I mentioned early on in the stream, we saw a lot of key items from the main key item locations to start with. The tower key, the package were available from, and the hook were available from like regular checks. And I thought maybe K-Trap wasn't on. Did that enter into either of your minds?
I thought it might have not been on for a little bit early on as well, but I was like, you know what? I have no weapons. I'm just going to clear through Eblin Castle just to try to pull a Cecil weapon, which did work out. And then I saw the Twin Harp and was like, okay, K-Trap is on. I'm going to keep that in mind.
Yeah, pretty much the same. I wanted the experience as well from those chests, so I was going to take them. And there's a lot of chests in there, so going in there for Dark Matter's not a bad move.
The other question I wanted to ask, and it is, have you ever had a Halloween haul as good as that Evelyn Castle was, with both a crystal sword and a twin harp for you?
No, that was pretty good.
It solved a lot of the problems, because early on I was like, what are we going to do with this Cecil if we're not going to find a weapon?
Look, we high rolled on every single Neki weapon.
And there were like 4 Excaliburs in there as well. So
yeah, no, there were so many. We high rolled every single Neki weapon this seed, and I am so happy with it.
Yeah, something was up when Rosa started out with an archer bow.
Yeah, Archer Mute for Rosa, basically the best thing she could have gotten. Change Rod for Palin, the best thing he could have gotten. Flame Spear was actually the best thing Kane could have started with. Fire Sword as well for Cecil, and then Edge starting with a middle sword, that's pretty much the best thing he can start with as well.
So Xenocat, you have a fair amount of experience with Lit 3s, as I understand. How does this rank for you?
This was an easy one. This was probably one of the easiest ones I played.
So we still need to get you one of those one objective win game seeds to roll.
Yeah,
then.
I haven't had one of those, unfortunately. I've had some one objective go beat Zeromus now, and those are Panic Jetty.
Yeah.
You know, they're not as challenging as, say, or they're more challenging in a way than this one, which is like, okay, just kind of work your way through the whole seed and get all the levels. And
yeah,
especially without permadeath or permajoin, it was just whatever.
Yeah, that made it very... I'm pretty sure I saw a 70 on both of you in terms of levels.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, kind of my big regret was not checking the Earth locations to save all those moon chests because I didn't need them.
Yeah, the moon ended up being, surprisingly sparse. We still had to
Yeah.
go up there for boss checks, and the Legend Sword was there, but beyond that, I was like, we really expected more out of the moon.
Yeah. No, the moon. I mean, the moon is never really great value, and I was kind of feeling like maybe I shouldn't have done it. I almost didn't check any of the trap chests on my trip down, and then I decided to check the trap chests because I had 10 key items and I wanted to get all the levels so I could just steamroll everything else.
I think I was at 15 key items when I started the moon, or started lunar subterrane, so I was basically looking for just the 2, and I was gonna get out of there, but not checking Luca really, I think cost me at least 10 minutes.
Yeah, Luca was definitely late on my checklist. I think the only things I faded over that were Odin behind 2 extra behemoths, no thank you, I don't want to deal with that, that's too much. And Evil Wallet Levy could just stay there.
Yeah, nobody touched that wall, and nobody wants to touch that wall.
No thank you.
So, was there a point in the seed where, the 3 seeds are designed to kind of give you all kinds of challenges early on, and was there a point where you felt like you reached the top of the mountain and started rolling downhill? And what was that point?
Honestly, I felt like the seeds started rolling as soon as Palom learned his level 2 elemental spells. There was nothing after that point that challenged me. Mount Hobbs was the point. Once I got through Mount Hobbs, the rest of the seed was just smooth sailing. Other than that, one little wipe I took because I didn't unequip the Avenger and was expecting Cecil to cover, and he did not cover.
Yeah, that Warrior's chest wipe was very unfortunate.
Edge, of course, had to extend it by dodging a whole lot and not falling down, but yeah, I figured it was probably not going to be salvageable, but I wanted to try. It's fine. I was more upset about the fact that I hadn't saved since before Dwarf Castle than anything else.
Yeah, that was the part that hurt for us watching in the booth. Hereward, how did you feel about the flow of the seed? When did you feel, you were really going with it?
I almost right away, once I had a couple weapons, once I remembered to get Rose out of the middle spot to do damage, felt fine. Really, the biggest challenge I thought that seed was just keeping track of everything that I needed to remember or do.
Yep, it was definitely a challenge to keep track of all the things. I tried to be pretty methodical with how I cleared the seed, but tried to stay like, okay, I'm going to clear a whole bunch of stuff in the overworld, and clear everything in the overworld before going down the hook route, and then once I get underground, I know I have a demist to check. I don't care. I'm clearing everything down here except for like half of Sylph Cave and Sealed Cave.
Yeah, maybe the hardest part was doing early trap chests without really agility setups. Like the crystal ring on Forum was kind of what was going to be the carry-in. Enough healing power to just heal up before the chests when needed.
Yeah, for me, I felt like the trap chests were mostly fine because I had a Cecil in the back row who could cover if necessary, and I had like Palom was about to learn Quake at that point. I had Charm Arrows as well that I bought in Mist, which were really nice for Eblin.
Yeah, they really helped out.
Yeah, and
Helped out a lot.
picking up Package Cecil was early when I did. I think was probably the best decision I made that seed. Right after Ordeals, so he could get all the experience, but also like right before heading to Evelyn Castle, so he could get his crystal sword and start swinging it right away.
Yeah, I did want to ask that. You both went into to Mist to check that package, saw the Cecil. Both of you did that before Ordeals. You didn't know a lot at that point. What was your thought process heading into that package chest?
when I first peeked it, I was like, oh, okay, it's Cecil. I'm gonna come back later because I don't really want Dark Knight Cecil taking up turns in my party, because he's not really going to be very useful, and I'll probably plan on coming back a little later. And then once I got through Ordeals, I was like, Edwin Castle probably has a weapon for him. I'll just go grab him now, even if he has like a kind of garbage weapon, which Fire Sword is not totally garbage, but it's pretty garbage. I was like, I'll probably find something.
And at worst, we found a crystal shield somewhere in the overworld, so he could have done some covering on that hook, right?
There was a crystal
if it
shield in
came to
Baradin,
it.
which really made me want to pick him up, because I was like, at least he can cover.
Yep.
That and the Dragoon helm that I picked up early on were very nice.
Otherwise, I mean, package is one of those where it's nice to know who's there. Maybe I'll just pick him up at some other point, like Dwarf Castle, and not have to worry about him. And turns out it was required in this seed, which is fine. I eventually would have checked it if I had to, but
yeah,
no point in doing package until I need.
Yeah, it was double required as well.
Yeah, no, it was, even if there was another Cecil somewhere, there was a fiend there, so you can't skip it. Gosh. Yeah, checking every boss spot this seed was not fun.
Yeah.
Well, I did want to ask, and Hubfin, if you have anything else, you can ask it. But
go right ahead.
Xenocat and Hereward, was this seed a trick or a treat?
I would go with treat as far as what could have come out of this.
Yeah, I'm gonna say this is a treat. I got to have a fun romp through and just destroy a whole bunch of trap chests, and then completely wreck Zeromus. It was fun.
Yeah, and
my only complaint is there weren't 2 Avengers. I would have really liked a second Avenger.
So who this might be a trick on is people who have never played a Lit 3 seed before and watched it, or try this one out and get a bad impression about what it is. So they might get a trick in a week or so.
Yeah.
Yep.
They're gonna probably be in for a surprise when I roll the next async right after this race or this restream concludes. Because, oh boy.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it was certainly.
There, like 5 party members, no permadeath, no perma join.
We were saying it's such a kind Lit 3.
So kind.
Because Lit 3 could be absolutely vicious.
Like it was T-Money, which was a little bit rude, but like the shops had things in them.
Yeah. I've seen one that was T-Money S Cabin.
Yeah, no, that's T-Money S Cabins is rude. T-Money but with like shops having things in them and items selling for like their normal sell price, whatever. I had so much money I didn't know what to do with at the end of the seed. Because I think the only things I bought were like the diamond rings early on, some arrows, the dwarf axe, and a couple of long swords, just to make sure back rowing happened.
Yeah, y'all were gillionaires by the end of this.
Yeah, no, it was. I mean, there's not that much to buy when the highest tier thing you can buy is tier 4, and by the time you get to Coco's shop, like, crystal gauntlets don't impress.
Well, GG's to both of you. Happy Halloween. Hupfin, you have anything else you wanted to ask our racers?
No, just gonna say GG again to the both of you, and thank you for putting on a really good show of a fairly generous seed. I say, looking at the 2-hour 49-minute completion times, like, yeah, that was generous.
Yeah, no, I think the only Lit 3s I've had that have been faster than this have been Rec 1.
Yep.
So, yeah, this was a very generous Lit 3. Do not expect these to normally finish up in less than 3 hours.
Well, it was a holiday, so.
Yeah, it's a holiday. It was restreamed. It's nice to y'all.
GG's, Xenocat, Hereward, You made it look easy, even though it was not easy. So well done. Thanks very much for having the restream, and we'll see you next time.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you for restreaming us. And I do want to make one little announcement regarding the Lit 3, the Trickers Trials Club. Our async will be starting up tonight. This is going to be replaced by the regular Sunday Slapdash, which will not be Lit 3 next week. It'll just be the Slapdash YAML.
Which could still be chaos. It's
still chaos, but it's not Lit 3. But yeah, thanks so much for having me on. And, I can't wait to watch this back.
Well, if you want to hear off-key singing, you definitely want to watch this back.
Yes, with those GGs to Hereward and Xenocan, thanks for them being restreamed. Thank you to Sheep Launcher for joining me in the booth, and a huge thanks to Harumph and Firebird Lover, taking care of the restream and the tracking, respectively.
Yeah, let's
FBL, great work on handling all of that.
Yeah, we will thank them. Let's recognize some other runners who finished up in the time that we were just yapping. Zilch finished in 6th place with a time of 2:50:34. Enja Dave finished in 7th place with a time of 2:52:14. Elvin Sorrow finished in 8th place with a time of 2:58:31. Count Abriula finished in 9th place with a time of 3:03:20. Poidrak finished in 10th place with a time of 3:03:48. And Tybalt finished in 11th place with a time of 3:04:03. GG's to all of you. You completed our runners were saying it was kind of easy, but still, it's a diabolical seed. And you all finished it so well done. Way to go. GG's.
Yes, GG's to everybody running, and thank you all for watching. We are just going to sign off here for the night. We have mentioned there are plenty of clubs running in this off season, plenty to participate in if you want to race, plenty to watch if you just want to watch. So, if you're not following the Free Enterprise channel already, please do so, and you'll get to see all these races as they come up.
Yeah, and happy Halloween, everybody. We'll see everybody for the next race, community race, tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Eastern U.S. time. Until then, so long.